Alrighty, we're back. I can bring this down a little bit.
Guess who's back?
Or as Apollo would say, bang, bang.
Bang. Is the NBA playoffs still going?
God, I'm so tired. I know you're tired too. I'm waxed.
Whipped ass.
I don't know. Is the NBA playoffs? I mean, we've missed the
I
whole
don't think the playoffs end
freaking
until June.
season.
It's good, George.
Your OKC is
Uncle
doing
Chrome.
freaking phenomenal.
Paulo Hanzo.
Apparently.
My Thunder is doing great.
Celtics are
Playoffs.
Celtics are in second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Thunder should be first, right?
Thunder is fucking first.
All they had to do was get rid of fucking
60,
Russell. And
so there's 68
and
games. One.
Yeah.
Next is 52 games won.
Jeez.
They're spanking the competition.
I don't know, but they've been known to cluck City.
Right?
No, that's the Celtics.
They never close it. Celtics did good last year.
Yeah.
Nah.
Thank you, Synthetica.
Luke, what's up, Luke? I caught your tail end of your live. I was busy finishing the studio, and I was like, oh crap, it's live.
It's been 100 miles an hour here.
It has. It really has. I'm really tired.
The new layout is nice. Everything is. As soon as I can come up with some change, I am going to cover up that power box with a picture.
Oh, I have that.
Which power box?
That floral. Remember the fake?
Find a monkey picture.
The
or something?
fake floral that we had on the divider between him and us on the old setup.
No, I can cover it.
Cover that.
No. I can cover it up with inkies. I just need to do a resin frame, and it'll cover it up completely.
Is it?
Because it's very
poster.
long. Remember?
Oh,
yeah, it's
yes.
very long. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I just need to do a resin frame for it. I'll do like purples and blues and stuff because she loved purple because there was a lot of purples for her. So I'll just do like purples, blues, and grays and whites and make it like a cloudy or maybe an ocean type of feel because she loved the beach. And then I could just do a picture frame and then we'll picture frame it. It will cover it perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then if not, we could still use the floral stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Shababy?
Shabiba.
Haven't seen Shababy in quite some time. It's good to see you.
Out there in Canada.
Let me know, chat, if the background music is too loud and I'll bring it down. But today we're probably not going to stay on long.
Yeah, we're not going to stay long.
We'll post the link so you guys can come in and just chat with us if you want. No interview today. It's been a long day. Lamont had 2 horses, which should have taken an hour, maybe 2 at the most. Ended up taking 5 hours.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So
I'm glad I didn't push a truck today.
we're pretty exhausted. I finished up the studio, cleaning it up and just getting it organized. Lamar had to drive down to take his boys back. So everybody's pretty...
And them hooligans kept me up both nights. 2 a.m.
We're pretty tired.
And I don't know if y'all watched The Lord of the Rings. What's the new shit on Amazon? Rings of Power. I don't know if y'all started that or not. So we started that.
Yeah.
It's
good.
Oh, it's god awful good.
Yeah.
But I got to catch him up on The Lord of the Rings. He's never seen any of them. So he has no idea what's going
on. Apollo Hanzo.
No worries, Steve.
Apollo Hanzo, I'm not sure how to answer that question about the native control.
What's his question?
The demo that he's on the fence about. I don't do reviews, or we don't really do synthesizer stuff like that. So I wouldn't be a great source to answer that question for you.
But somebody in chat will.
Somebody in chat can probably answer that for you.
Do a live with it, Apollo, and then see what folks think.
Run that shit
And
through
I
his
think at the
paces.
end of the day, is it going to work with your workflow?
Yeah.
I think that's the most important. Do you have to change a lot to get this incorporated, or is it easy? Is it an easy incorporation in your workflow right now? Because that's what you always do, right? Like if you're looking at synths and stuff, or you always say, is it going to be an easy?
He said it's awesome.
Oh, there you go.
Shit.
That's all that matters.
I suggest you show how awesome it is.
Put that bad boy on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, do it live.
Put it on the Wi-Fi.
Show us.
Slap that
He said
bad boy on the
oh,
Wi-Fi.
Chrome got a Gen 1.
It's like tuning VSTs into a synth.
Turning VSTs.
Oh,
into a
turning.
synth.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm the only VSTs I'm liking right now is Albion 1, and that's just because Kent's walking us through
The scoring.
the orchestral.
That's the one you
scoring.
got into Ableton, right? Mm-hmm.
And I finally got a foot controller for it. But other than that, I am wanting to implement it into our live setup once we go live. Dallas House Music. You got a mic, Dallas. Why don't you join the
Yeah,
chat?
that
Dallas
was
was
so
freaking
funny.
hilarious
That
this
shit
morning.
was funny.
He was like, I got a mic. I put on my mic to show you
Mm-hmm.
that I got a mic.
Mhm.
Right?
Damn.
And then he said something like, I have 2 turntables. And I was like, oh, and a microphone.
Yep.
Two turntables and a
action.
microphone.
Yeah, join us, Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas, hop on, brother.
Come on.
Brother.
You got a mic.
Brother.
Hop on in. Click on that little
Yeah.
link
Said
right
to
there.
Show it off.
Yeah.
Get your ass up in
George was on. George is everywhere we are.
15
Yeah, he is.
turntables.
15.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think Georgie be following us too, man. I think Georgie just be everywhere.
I know for a fact it was the wife, my brother, myself, George, Crazy Rabbit,
Yep.
Asif,
Yep.
Slope 114,
Figueroa.
and someone else. We had a.
Wasn't Viral in there?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But
Oh, maybe not.
I didn't see him if he was. But we call it now. Dallas does not call his stuff church on Sundays, so don't get it twisted. But his fans on
We do.
Sundays, we
Yeah.
call it
Yeah.
church on Sundays.
Shit.
And I even get my church shoes out with my basketball shorts and a tank top with some black socks. It looked funny as hell, but
church is
I did it.
I'm in house church.
Yeah,
I did
boy.
it. I got my bathrobe and my slippers.
So it don't matter what your church attire is, as long as you dress for church.
Look, even George knows. I'm telling you, George knows. Crazy Rabbit knows too that we Sunday morning.
Well, Grace, didn't you text?
We'll be hard pressed not to be in Dallas
yeah,
house.
didn't
boy.
you text?
I text Crazy
Crazy
Rabbit.
Rabbit-
I said, "Hurry up, get your ass over here." Dallas got a microphone, and it's not some mini ass microphone. And then Crazy Rabbit was like, "Oh shit, I got to hurry up and get over there." And then Dallas began to tear down our equipment. He was like,
So-
if you own a TR-8S, you a piece of shit.
Yep,
Right.
straight
That's
up.
what he told me.
babe,
Everybody
he
a
called
piece
you-
of shit
He
that
called you a piece of shit.
Everybody.
That
He said,
wasn't
fuck
very
Rose.
nice.
Yeah.
But I got a 707, so I'm going to bounce back.
But he got a sorry SHD4. Like I don't even know anybody who has some bullshit like that.
But what's
That's
funny?
one of the worst things Roland fucking put out, and he gonna stand behind that bullshit.
What's funny is that Dallas not only has the one mic that he was using, but he actually has 2 incognito mics somewhere,
Yeah.
which he can't find.
Yeah.
They're in stealth mode.
Shit, George said he left for NYC after church was out.
Damn.
If y'all don't know what we're talking about, y'all got to get into Dallas Jam channel so y'all can understand what we're talking about.
If you a fan of house music, I mean, he in his house and he making music.
And Dallas is a funny dude. He remind me of
His
like a
ladies' man type.
no.
thing.
He just passed away. He reminds me of what's his name? Mooney.
Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney.
Oh,
The Paul
okay.
Mooney is synthesizers and house music.
Yeah.
So let's not forget or glaze over. I say glaze because of that YouTube video.
Glaze.
That we also heard from his wife Alteria.
Yeah, I was going to ask what her name was.
Alitra.
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 Thank you.
I always mess that up. Alitra.
She making more fire beats than his ass is.
right?
Dallas, welcome in. Can we hear you?
That's the thing right there.
Okay, so I see that you're using OBS.
There's no need for OBS.
Oh.
You
bullshit.
don't need OBS when you click on the Streamyard. So just click on the Streamyard and in the settings, tell it what mic and what video to look for. But you don't need OBS because essentially you're double stacking the stream softwares, because OBS and StreamYard are the same thing.
I don't know, Apollo. You're going to have to do a rundown on your show. Let me know so I can see what the SHD4 is or the SH4D is doing, bruh. But you're going to have to sell me on this, bruh.
So real quick, Dallas, I removed you from the stage. I'm going to, and sounds really bad, but there he is. Okay, never mind. He's back.
Oh, okay. Well, shit.
What up, Dallas?
Yo,
I
there
do
we
like
go.
the songs, Apollo.
There
So,
we go.
I mean, you got a point, my guy, but show me what it's all about.
You got your mic, Dallas?
Show me.
Get your mic, bruh.
Get your mic.
He's like, oh shit, let me look at it.
And grab.
He's like, I smoked too many,
and grab your joint.
too many joints.
Yeah, he had 2 before he started church.
I'm live. And
There you are.
I'm famous. Look, Ma.
Look, Ma.
I'm on TV, mama.
He's famous.
Shit.
Mama,
Leech,
not only am
Leech,
I my channel,
Leech,
but I'm
we
on
made
somebody
it.
else's.
We made it.
We made it, baby. We in the big leagues, baby.
We on somebody else's channel
We're on a
now.
talk show.
He just calls it a talk show.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know if that's
Talk
a
show.
fucking insult or some shit.
This is the
There
premier
she go.
Talk shows are famous.
There you go.
This is the premier synth talk show.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I mean, y'all may jam like once in a while, but honestly, this is the premier synth hangout on the internet.
But I mean, you need to,
All the other synth hangouts are like a bunch of British dudes who look like they can't fit into a mini rover, talking about oscillators and shit.
God damn, Dallas, that's like our main fucking people who watch.
You know what? Because they want to be entertained for once.
yeah, you
'Cause they
just
want to be entertained.
you just slaughtered the whole damn community.
Where the fuck
why I
is
don't
Kent
do
when
these.
we need him?
Right? Shit.
This is why I don't do these, by the way. I'm trying to keep the peace, unity, and whatever the hell the other ravers out there think is.
Mm,
Yeah. Well, it sure
Fuck.
sound like you are.
look,
Yes,
fuck
inclusivity.
peace. Just be honest.
Yeah. Peace.
Yeah,
ain't
no,
got
I had a problem with that actually. I moved from New York City to California in my youth, and honesty gets you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, people don't
outside
like
of,
honesty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really big fans of it. They
Mm-mm.
really like that fantasy world out there. I was
Yeah.
finding Californians weird like that. Like they really were all about some peace, love, and unity,
Mhm.
but they were not like that at all deep down inside. It's
Yeah.
They claim they want honesty, but when you give it to them, they're like,
Yeah,
"What the
no, yeah,
fuck
you're-
are you
you're-
telling me?"
definitely not
Mhm.
going to be making any friends in California.
What
being
part of
honest.
California?
I was in San Diego.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Central.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back there again unless I was rich. You know, it's one of those places that if you had a lot of money, you could totally
You could
live
do
in a cool spot and
Mhm.
enjoy San Diego. But
I was just
Other
saying,
than that-
that's a waste of money. Even if I was rich, I wouldn't move back to that piss
Yeah.
hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Born and raised there, the three of us.
Yep.
San Diego, I don't know. I could never understand how a city so poised to be wonderful could be so stiff. Like it
Mhm.
really like tried hard to like never go that last mile to just be like a fun place.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
but I live in Norfolk now, and I think major military regions are like that. They put that one last barrier between you and fun for the sake of our boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you at? What state?
Virginia.
Oh, Virginia.
Virginia.
yeah.
Right? Virginia? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you run more of a conservative lifestyle?
You know, it's funny if we're gonna talk about. I always thought I was a liberal until I went and worked for an organization of liberals. I mean, I really would have told you.
And then
like,
he was
I
like,
was a-
fuck, I ain't
I was.
none of
I
that.
would have. No, seriously. I would have thought that I was a flaming, gay loving liberal, and then I went and worked for a liberal political outfit, and I realized, oh, you motherfuckers are crazy.
Crazy.
You're out of your fucking minds. Like,
He's like, oh,
So
whatever.
your
what you
ideas
call-
are just
Libertarians.
We're what you call libertarians or
Yeah.
apolitical.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
met a libertarian that wasn't like a Republican that was just slightly ashamed of the label.
So what you
Okay,
saying?
I
Somebody
like
else
that
saying,
too.
motherfucker.
somebody in neutral ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't identify with all of you crazy ass
Yeah,
motherfuckers, but
yeah.
you're,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well, Malcolm X and Huey Newton were conservative.
a lot of more people than you think are conservative. I mean,
Yeah.
Jim Morrison.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think a lot of
famously
people
was-
hide their conservative.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my
Yes.
brother and I don't. We hunt. We like horses. We support.
I
we support
think
the
my problem
country.
I think my problem is when they
We like guns.
made
Oh
it
yeah, we
so-
got kicked out from YouTube
Or-
because
or
of
for
the
Yeah,
guns.
showing
guns.
Did you see that, Dallas? We got booted from YouTube because of our guns.
Yeah, I think because it's a bunch of idiots that have threatened people like
Yes.
directly,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and
And you got
get
the
kinda
far
caught up,
right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I was military, so I have a nuanced view on. I'm not really afraid or ashamed of saying when a country has annoyed me slightly too much, and that's when I start looking the other way on them getting droned.
Yeah.
But Alitra, bring me my flag. Let's show you my flag, and
That's
you'll
who
see
you
the.
remind me of, Dallas.
Alicia. I love that name.
Alicia.
Alitra.
Alitra.
Alitra. I love that name.
You remind me of a fucking how Donald Glover should have
Oh,
been.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at his flag. Look at his flag. Look at his flag.
Oh, there you go.
Ukrainian flag. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's certain things about the current state of conservatism. The division between the ideal that being a Republican is automatically conservative and being a Democrat is
Right.
automatically
Mhm.
liberal.
Mhm.
It just became so lazy, and it really lacks some nuance.
Right.
The and then the dogmatic. I understand Trump being the ultimate avatar for conservative rage. I really do. And actually appreciate it in a punk rock kind of way. I think, his disruption
Yeah.
is
Complete
just as
anarchy.
much fucking fun as
Yeah.
I thought. Obama's disruption was. I
Yeah.
I enjoy them both in their own particular way. My problem would be the masking of mistakes and corresponding it to genius. When you're that powerful, most things you do are gonna move things with a
Mhm.
50-50 fucking shot of being
Yeah.
successful. Or so it's not always enough to say that, oh, I did this, I did that, I accomplished this and I accomplished that. When you're pushing the levers at random, which like I said, I'm a big fan of pushing the levers at random, but come clean. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but y'all
Right.
didn't either.
Yeah.
Exactly. Uncle Chrome had a really good comment, and I don't want to miss it. He said, "I thought libertarians were Republicans who didn't give a shit about abortion."
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm,
He said,
I'm not that. I'm not those.
I mean,
what I am.
Man, that's
overall,
hilarious.
what I wish is there was I wish there was a new term to come out to
Yeah.
to describe me. Like I said, I am a definitely
Can
a
we be
Democrat.
described as other? So you know how they're the sex on like stuff. It's female, male, and then they have like all these bunch of other categories, and then other.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
have
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Can we have other now?
Yeah, I wanna be-
Republican,
Yeah.
Democrat,
Well, just combine those.
Libertarian,
I was just gonna say that.
independent, other.
I want to be a dim publican.
I
You know
no,
what?
no,
I
other,
think
just
other.
I
other.
think what the world needs to acknowledge, and I think what's cool about you and your brother and the guns and the hunting and all that stuff is, I think as I've grown older, and I come from a Democrat family, I come from a family that has politicians, powerful ones in their family on the Democratic Party, and I think at the end of the day, the line that black people have been sold about running to the Democratic Party hook, line, and sinker,
Mhm.
it's gotten out of hand. I think that there's a lot to be gained from Republican ideals. The problem with the Republican Party and black people is that Republican Party is it's kind of like the kid behind the standing behind his mother, and his mother is telling you how her son's gonna do better and everything, and meanwhile the little bastard standing behind you flipping you the bird. That's kind of how
that's politics 101, right?
Yeah.
but that's kind of that attitude is kind of how the Republican Party sometimes speaks to black people. Like they come to you like, hey, we've got great news for you, black people. You've been following the wrong group all along, blah 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 blah, and that's why none of you have dads.
Yeah, well, I haven't met one. I haven't met one to this day who's gotten 40 acres and a mule.
Serious?
I would take a part of that.
Literally, have not.
Oh yeah, don't get me started on reparations. I mean,
reparations.
I have not met one yet.
If you want to talk about like, this is where me and like liberals completely split, and especially that whole. I like math. Okay, I like math. I like reality.
Oh, you'll love Uncle Crumb.
So I want to know, just straight off the bat. First of all, it's entirely a questions thing. I mean, it is a rabbit hole of endless questions.
Speaking of rabbit,
crazy.
I wish that black leaders would never mention it again. I wish student activists would just forget the whole freaking word.
Mm-hmm.
First off, let's ask the first question. Okay. Who gets it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, right off the bat.
Who gets reparations?
Mm-hmm.
How far do I got to go back? Okay. Do I have to be a direct documented descendant of a slave, or do I just have to be black? And so clearly 40 acres and a mule is not a contract that the U.S. government's going to abide by.
Because I can tan to be
do
black.
reparations take? There's an endless series of questions. Does a Jamaican descendant get reparations? Part of my family's Jamaican, part of my family's Asian. Am I disqualified somehow? Am I not black enough?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
what's your
just
percentage,
right off the bat,
Dallas?
one of the problems with the
full or not.
One of the problems with the liberal thing is that you end up in a situation where you start taking life or death stands on issues that are just non-starters, like from second one. And that's the problem with extreme politics on the left and the right.
It's just an evil circle that will never end.
And you're the only brother I will talk politics with. And I don't know why, but you seem like you just don't give a fuck about the media and the hoopla.
I have a great question. Probably a very profound question for Dallas.
I love history long enough, and you study history long enough, and you start realizing that the talk around the dinner table and at the bars is probably not enough to cover the nuance of global geopolitics. I mean, if you really look at it, we're still fighting the effects of World War I. Still, literally to this day, World War I, the domino effect is still at play. It's crazy. And
it'll never change.
Coming up with it's like the Ukraine thing. I mean, like this is a direct result of World War I leading into World War II, leading into the Cold War, leading into whatever we have now. I mean, I'm a little distressed by. What was your question?
So my very important question, probably the most important out of this whole evening for Dallas, is where is your better half and how come she's not on the mic?
Oh,
she
shit.
is working on coffee.
Is she going to join you though later? Like, is she going to talk to us?
I think you'll see her wave.
No. I hear her.
Wait.
We got it.
I want to talk to her.
We got to meet her.
But wait, hang on. So, if you got a check in the mail for reparations, would you accept it or decline it?
Oh, I'm not a fool, son.
I was going to say, can I answer that?
I'm not going to object on a hill.
Yeah.
honestly, if you asked me to vote for reparations, I would
I
have
wouldn't.
to
I
decline.
wouldn't.
I just don't think
Yeah,
it's
I
such a
wouldn't
good
either.
precedent. You know, I think a lot of
I don't know a nigga that knows a nigga that was a slave.
And I don't vote as it is now.
I
don't vote for
I don't want to
shit.
blame the victim here, but I have witnessed the genesis of a lot of people's internal racism, and I think a lot of people that are white, they identify as racists. It's usually some kind of like one little incident that really just got under their skin, personally or politically.
Yeah.
And I think I forgot what some president did. It was one of the Democratic presidents, either Obama or Biden, but they did something one time, and I just it just got why are you thumbing your noses at these people? You know what I mean? It wasn't all that necessary.
I think at the end of the day, our problem is we're always putting everybody in categories, right? So I think it stems from Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians. Can we not be in a category anymore and just be
Americans?
For
just be
the
people.
general human race population?
Just be people.
Yeah. And
all together, let's just work for it.
I think, like I said, that's what we were talking about earlier when we said something about the we wish there was another name for it, because you and I are kind of on the same page. I want to let out my inner redneck without shame. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without being being scrutinized from your
Yeah.
other family members who are like, why are you a sellout?
There's all kinds of weird things that that I've heard growing up, especially growing up in New York City. And Alitra and I both were, I mean, toe to toe, elbow to elbow on an hourly basis with, guys spouting Black revolutionary. And it sounds super cool. You're hanging out with rappers and stuff, and they're telling you about, the secrets of the world and blah, blah, blah. And then you get to a certain age and you realize, oh, these guys are all fucking full of shit. And the world is both less complicated and way more complicated than they could ever imagine.
And it's reverse racism anyways. And there should be no problem with you claiming both sides and just being comfortable being comfortable.
I became uncomfortable with reverse racism in the 90s. Sometime in the 90s, I was struck by a friend of mine, and he was quoting a friend of mine in the Navy was quoting a comedian, probably Martin Lawrence. And he was quoting a Martin Lawrence joke or somebody's joke. And I don't know, at that I have an image in my head very clearly of that moment, thinking, you know what? Why is that cool? Why is it cool for a Black comedian to spend like 20, 30 minutes just screaming, all kinds of abuse at the white people in the audience? And is what's funny. I was like, it just struck me as a young person, like, isn't that kind of like how about we just skip that shit altogether?
Right. It's only a problem because you keep fucking talking about it.
Right.
Oh, who said that? Well, who was that
Morgan
actor?
Freeman.
No, the keep talking about it part, I'm cool with that. That part I think is a little, when people say stop talking about it, I think that's not quite the thing. What I'm talking about is it's not cool to be constantly like white people ain't shit. You
That's
know
what
I
I'm talking about.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
If a Black person just said that out loud, I mean, a white person said that out loud about Black people, there's no way to remotely get a laugh out of that. Everyone goes,
they'd be persecuted.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's okay for us to do it.
Don't even finish the punchline, son. You just said shit. But if a Black comedian gets up on stage right now, if 100 of them get in a row, get up there and say the same fucking thing as their opening line, white people ain't shit. Everyone will just fucking
it'd be fine.
That's what I was going to say. It's okay for us to do it, but when somebody else do it,
so
we got a problem with it.
Is that during my rave days, and maybe a lot of people will say this, especially you hear this from the UK ravers, the early ravers. My rave days decentralized my thoughts on race. I just gave up on the whole fucking thing, and that's the point where I realized, like, I got way too many white friends. I mean, this is stupid. And being in the military made me want to be like this ultra American. I'm cool with waving the fucking flag. I'm definitely all about, if I had the pickup truck, I'd get the 50-foot flag and gun it down the road rolling coal. I mean, but it took a lot to deprogram that whole New York East Coast, the government's out to get us kind of thing. You know, but by a lot, I don't mean a lot. It's funny that when I say a lot, but it was really boot camp. After boot camp, you realize that, oh shit, I've been lied to.
Yeah. How many years in the military were you in? And what branch of the military?
6 in the Navy.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you for your service.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
buddy who's who was in the Army, and he injured himself, both of his knees, and he went there believing one thing. I mean, he was patriotic, like everybody that serves, and it's not taken away from the patriotism. It's taken away from the fact that I'm supporting my country, but my country is lying to me on things that I really don't have any understanding or know at all what's really going on, and I'm putting my life on the line for
lies.
For lies. Someone else's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Mhm.
So
I have a thought on that though. And this is just my fatalist decision making process. That's the gig. I mean, that's bottom line.
Mm-hmm. You signed up for it.
yep.
Yeah. I like
Well,
whatever
to
your
an
political-
extent. To an extent.
As far as
Granted,
I'm
you're-
concerned, is all your political ideology goes out the door. There's an oath you say, and you say it several fucking times before you put that first uniform on. You agree to obey all orders coming from superior officers, including the President of the United States of America, Commander-in-Chief, all senators and congressmen. You signed up for this shit. Whether you know what the fuck you're doing, whether you
Or
know
not.
Or
Right.
not.
or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pointless.
Yeah, it's kind of
You roll the
signing that.
dice. Sometimes you will get to fight the good war. I promise. you.
Right.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you will get to save the world. Sometimes you will get to pull the children from the burning building to beat back the forces of evil. But other times you will be sent to do dog shit, dirty work, and murder. And
It's
that's the gig. My father got lucky. He missed Korea by a few years,
That was a nasty war too.
oh wow.
and he missed Vietnam by a few years.
That was
What?
even
He got in after Korea, but before Vietnam. But he had 2 brothers that went to Korea and Vietnam.
Mm.
So, you know, you roll the dice on these things. You know, I happen to I got lucky like my father. I stepped foot in at the very end of Desert Storm 1 and stepped foot out months before 9/11.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was no
It's kind of like when you go into the military, whatever branch you're in, it's kind of like reading that fine print, right? It's people complain about it when it doesn't suit them, but the fine print was there when you signed the documents. So you should have read the fine print, because then you probably wouldn't have complained.
you don't even gotta read. You don't even gotta read the front print.
Yeah.
They shake you down so many different times.
Mhm.
And,
Right.
I mean, there's lots of things that they just kind of gloss over.
Yeah.
But if you're
George
going
G's,
in-
real quick, I don't want to pass over this comment. He said, "Thank you, Dallas, for your service." His granddaughter is currently in the Navy now.
you know, it's funny about the thank you for your service. It's something that's become ubiquitous now, but in the early days of it, I wasn't comfortable with it. I remember when thank you for your service started. It was after 9/11. And I think that was when the weird ultra divide started, and it's gotten exponentially worse since then. The first time I heard thank you for your service, it was being said very angrily by a person to the military people. And she wasn't being angry at the military people. She was saying it in an angry way, as if to say that only the conservatives loved the military. Only the
Oh
conservatives.
shit.
S-
Yeah.
And thanking them for their service. And it was a way of justifying the growing because they had framed people that had objections to George Bush going into Iraq as being anti-American, anti-patriotic, and then they framed them as being anti-soldier, and that's when thank you for your service started. And I remember thinking, like, oh my god, you do not want a history of my fucking service. You would not be
Right.
thanking me at
It-
all. You'd want
it's-
your fucking money back. You know, the way they glorify the military is pretty hilarious because I'm telling you, son, this if you wanted some place to go and start like cutting back on and save some money, oh boy, you could send about half of them boys home. They're not right in the head. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not.
movies make us look like some kind of like, they always like, are you guys ready? Yes, sir. We're ready. No, it's a lot of fucking around. It's a lot of porn. It's a lot of guys who crash their fucking motorcycles doing 200 miles an hour drunk. It's a lot of guys who
Yeah, it's a lot
disappear.
of guys not okay in the head.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
the military, I'd say, is about 50. The actual fucking dedicated, really hardworking, patriotic professionals in the military are about like in the 30 to 40% zone. And the rest of us are just fucking goobers who just didn't want real jobs. I'm sorry. That is the honest fucking truth. And I just find it so weird.
So you don't know who you're thinking in essence.
Exactly. This whole deification of the military. I remember when what was that fucking prison? Abu Ghraib. Remember that? When Abu Ghraib was an outpost in the middle of the desert in Iraq where the soldiers would strip the Iraqi prisoners naked and pile them on top of each other and took pictures. And
I remember
I remember
remember
that.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I remember all of my liberal friends going, "This is an outrage. This is the most horrible thing." And I'm like, no, that's fucking Saturday night.
hmm
Okay, that's just what we do when no one's looking.
Right.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
heads. Okay, quit thanking us. Okay, we could barely be bothered to get back to the fucking ship on time.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, we're really, really messed up all the time.
I think,
There's
but it's all about a matter of perception too, right? Some people know that there's some good in the military, like there's some good in law enforcement, and it goes with any job. But I think people just fail to put it together because when I was doing law enforcement, people looked at you as just the badge to shield the person that's not human. When you go to put the military in all these professions and you put human behind it, and then that's what you get. Military is no means of a perfectionist state. It's just a human element that likes to fuck things up.
But a lot of people
Genuinely
presume
speaking,
that they're
there's no-
perfect, though.
I don't think there's any, and that's the other problem I had with liberals. I don't think there's any evil contingency in the military. That fucking classification, even in the movies when they show you these boys behind the curtains that are willing to do the bad stuff and the dirty. No, they don't fucking exist. I
The
swear to
movies?
God.
You mean the movies?
The movies just there's always like some kind of like special squad and they're no. Trust me.
I'll tell you what exists though:
Everybody-
greed, self-interest, and power. And that goes for any goddamn military, government. It don't matter
Yeah.
what it is, law enforcement.
See,
It don't matter.
That's the point I'm saying about the movies is that when you're in the military, I promise you will look around, you will look at it really carefully, and you'll go, Hollywood is full of shit. There's nothing going on here. Nothing. There's no
Right.
secret cabal. There's no fucking gun running. There's no drugs going into cadavers. There's nobody that's fucking that organized. Number one. You'll learn that real fucking fast is that all the conspiracy theories in the world would fall apart if you were in the military and you realize just how hard it is to get anything done, much less mobilize secret armies. No, seriously, you can't mobilize secret armies until if you've ever watched a mobilization, you realize, well, that whole, remember goddamn, what year was it? It was about 10 years ago. Oh, the UN has a secret army in the middle of the country, and that's he's going to invade the country. And I'm like, okay, so the UN has a secret army, and the utility company didn't notice this fucking 200 gigawatts of just randomly being sucked from the power grid. You're telling me the food trucks, rolling down the hill to this once deserted area.
You got to feed it. Yeah.
Dolly, okay, who the fuck gave Dallas a mic?
Yeah. He went from just playing jams to this motherfucker got a lot to say.
Alitra,
Don't
there
he?
she is. Give her the mic. Give her the mic.
Yeah, what's wrong with your
Please.
husband, Alitra?
What's wrong with your husband? Please take over the mic and tell us what is wrong with your
Slide his
man.
ass over.
Yeah,
Slide his
slide his
ass
punk ass over.
Push him over.
What's wrong with her husband is she hasn't seen him in 12 years.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Alitra? You still happy with that decision?
I'm not married to Graydon. Everybody thinks we're married, but we're not married.
Oh, okay.
I've known him since I was 14. So
What? Wow.
You know,
We're not
that's a,
So
It's,
basically, you're fucking married. I don't care what a piece of paper says. You're all tied together.
I keep trying to tell her that. She looks at me cross-eyed. I'm like, like, because
No. Give her the give her back the mic.
we give her the mic.
Give her the mic, Dallas.
I'm just
no,
gonna.
no, you can-
No, don't leave, Dallas.
Don't leave, Elitra. Come
Kyle,
back. Come back. You know, you need to go find one of the two mics that are hiding in the basement. For your woman. Thank you. Here we go.
And don't go smoking no weed either.
Ah, there we go.
Too late.
Too late.
Half the time I think he was born with that thing in his mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure he has. If he's been looking for it and it's currently in his mouth, he probably was born with it.
Alitra,
Yeah.
how did you meet this dude?
At 14.
Can you please run us through the story?
And why
What he
didn't
was
you
like?
run away at 14?
You know you had better options out there. Did you know you could diversify your portfolio?
Don't you dare take her mic away.
No, get out of there. Get your black greasy ass
I
hands
want to
out
hear.
of there.
I
This
want to
is
hear
all
both
about
sides.
her.
Easy. Okay, wait. Let's listen to this woman. Y'all getting crazy.
Yeah, I'm
So-
excited she's
Okay,
on.
let's go.
We met in the hallway at school. Me, ninth grade, just walked through the door, just being myself. I think I had on combat boots. No, I had on Doc Martens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Doc Martens,
a
yeah.
tank top, a
Mhm.
motorcycle jacket. My hair was cut incredibly short. I had a flat
Oh, what?
top. So he looked at me and was like, This is Port Long Island. And when I say I stood up like a sore thumb, I'm 6'1". And back then I was 6'1".
Wow.
Okay. I'm 100 pounds heavier than I was when I was in high school.
Well, we all are.
Aren't we all?
So the hilarious thing is he said to me many years later when I moved here, he said, I looked at you and I said, this girl gets it. And as a matter of fact, he reminded me that I introduced him to the Clash. He reminded me that I introduced him to a lot of weird things that he was like, had no idea kind of existed. So my daughter is staring at me, listening to the story. So we kind of just sort of aimlessly started hanging out at that point. It was
Mhm.
just the thing.
No,
And
we went to. That was a Friday.
Yeah.
And I said, let's go to the village tomorrow because that was like the thing, the big, thing.
I love how they remember this so
On
many
Friday.
years later, right?
No, the story is just fucking. It's weirder than it sounds. First of all, so when I saw her, she was talking to a friend of mine. Now my name is Graydon, and his name is Hayden.
Mhm.
And I think we were part of like the cool black nerd contingent. Like, it was just,
Cool partner.
but not quite the smart or popular black nerd. Anyway, he was talking to her, and she looked to me like a fucking goddess. I mean, like, and I remember walking up, and I remember seeing Hayden, and I remember going, Hayden.
Go away. Move.
No.
No. Stop it.
No.
Stop it. She's mine.
From literally that second on, we stood toe to toe, and that was it. We were a duo.
Wow.
So by Saturday, we had been to the city together. I think the next week we went to our first nightclub together.
Yep.
I mean, she's 14 and I'm.
And he didn't know I was 14 at the time, which was hilarious. Nobody knew how.
So how old, Creighton, how old were you?
I was 17. Yeah, she's 14.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
This is how cool New York used to be before the Giuliani years. She's 14, I'm 17, and we're both bebopping in and out of every nightclub in Manhattan with zero static. You know, just you pay your fucking money, you look the part, you get in. So, you know, I think she might have been my first nightclub experience. Certainly the first time I fucking decided to sneak out of my house on a weekday.
Woo! That's how you know you're in love right there, boy.
My father was a bouncer. My father was a pretty well known bouncer.
She knew.
Yeah. I pretty much kind of had ends with people. They knew me. They saw me. Oh, that's Bernie's daughter. Don't worry about her. She's cool.
Yeah.
And I was just one of those people who just knew people. Both of my brothers were in music. But later on, I got into singing the blues. Then all sorts of other stuff. I was a model for years. So it was I was just a city kid. I really enjoyed because I moved to New York City when you moved me there to my dad's place when I was 15. I think like a week later, my 16th birthday hit. So,
but yeah, well, it's funny when we say we're city kids. We're Long Island kids who lived our separate life in the city as much as we could. She got to move to the city, but it was very unusual. New York is weird. It's very divisional. So Long Island has 300 towns. I've never been to 1/10 of them. I don't even know, 90% of the towns in Long Island. But I do know this is that every 4 or 5 miles is another town. And if you cross that border, you better have a reason to be there. So New York in general is a block for block, mile for mile territorial place. So for a Long Island kid to just get on the train and go into Manhattan and then just spend the day there wandering when you're taught as a kid that Manhattan, New York City is so dangerous, it was kind of unusual. So, to find somebody that was willing to explore the city, at 3 a.m, that was actually kind of hard to do.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. That's so crazy.
It was just me and her. That was it. Out of our school, out of our even, if you talk about our extended peer group across Long Island, it was very unusual.
So did you guys ever separate, or have you guys always been a duo?
No.
Oh, you did. So you went your separate ways at one point in time.
Navy.
He was a bum and joined the Navy.
God damn.
So after high school, he was a bum, joined the Navy. What did you do? You continued on to your modeling career?
Yes. Well, I danced in hip hop videos for 2 years.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And not the type of dancing that they do today.
No, okay, that's okay. I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, no, but
You have a Fraggle stalker.
that's my baby. Come here. Come on. Well, if you're gonna stand there, you're gonna come here.
You got to come say hi.
George G's mentioned lure kids. What are lure kids? Do you guys know what that means?
No,
LIRR.
Oh, who's this?
that's my daughter Angelina.
Oh,
Well, hello,
she's
good looking.
gorgeous. How old is she?
She just turned 15.
Oh, get
Yeah.
out of the
Her
picture.
15.
Get out
Yeah.
of the
Get
picture.
out.
You're
Get outta
15.
here.
You're not legal.
Damn adult
But
business going on.
she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, when she's 18, she can come back.
Yep.
She's beautiful.
He eats my food and doesn't get off my couch. And takes
Mm.
Oh, geez.
Sound like your lazy ass
Look-
joining the
look at
Navy.
him. Look at him.
If I'm to be
Okay,
honest.
okay. So Alitra,
Alitra, put
he-
that mic
he-
in the other hand, would
he-
you? Because we can barely hear.
Oh, we can hear both. We
Okay.
hear enough from
Okay.
him.
Yeah.
Trust me. We want to hear about Alitra.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So he went off to the military, was a bum. You did your career. When did you guys meet back?
I moved to Ireland for 2.5 years.
Random.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You said Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Hey, you moved to Ireland.
So when you guys separated, how many years did it take for you guys to come back and reconnect?
I
The last
spoke
time I
to her for the first time after the Navy.
Oh, he took a great hit.
I'm like, 2002, briefly. and then lost track of her again until Facebook. No, till MySpace, and
Oh
then
my God, I remember
lost
MySpace.
track of her again. And so every time a new social media would come up, we'd bump into each other. And I think so. The real
But
The-
meanwhile, wait, in 2001, we both lived in Queens.
Oh,
yeah, we didn't-
what?
we
Which-
were like
which
pretty
was-
close to each other.
We were a stone's throw away from each other. Didn't even know we were in the same place.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
Kind of freaky, isn't it?
Yeah.
And-
That
If
is.
if the universe doesn't freaking tell you what's up,
No.
like this is the epitome
This is the-
of
right.
the universe
You
telling
guys
you
were supposed to be together.
at the end of the day. Yeah.
Well, that was always kind of like the unspoken promise of our friendship from youth, and it. I guess when you're young and you're naive and you're dreaming your space age dreams, we always imagined that, well, sooner or later we'll get what we want out of life, and you and I will be in the same place again, and we'll have fun. We'll create something. We'll build something. We'll make an album or do something. And then the thing that made it happen was we both hit ultimate rock bottom.
Oh, okay.
Not just for the first time either. Like I was on my third dive to complete and utter ruin. I don't know how many times she's been freaking down, but it was kind of like, hey, do you want to? Hey, can I come live with you for a while? And I'm like, no, I mean, no.
She's like, no.
I mean, I'm giving you the can I come live with you for a while? Everything's gone to hell. Everything's gone to hell over here, and I may not have this house for longer, but hey, why not? You know, mi casa su casa. And then we managed to just ride out.
So how old were both of you when this happened?
This
this
was
is
8 years
recently.
ago.
Oh, this is
what?
recent.
This is recently.
Yeah, Angelina was a kid.
She was just a little. She's 7.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh,
Now is
wow.
that the both of your daughters or no?
No.
Okay. All right. So Dallas is walking in on luggage, but he's walking back in on the woman
A
he
true love.
loves.
True love. Yeah.
So how
Destiny.
yeah.
Well,
so
you
so
know-
why would you be on the fence, Alitra?
On the fence about what?
About him coming to move in with you? Because you was like, nope.
No. So this is what happened. It was me moving. It was me moving here. Yeah. No.
Always believe the woman.
Okay.
Always
Yeah.
believe the woman.
Oh, you don't tell the story. of
I'm not
why,
gonna
but
tell this the horrible.
the why. Yeah, the why isn't important.
The-
The how.
See, this is
Deflect.
why. This is
Deflect
why
like the
you
fuck,
always
Dallas.
believe the woman.
Right? Deflect.
My let's just say crazy baby daddy. Okay,
Uh-huh.
let's say that.
Yeah.
Pulled some really crazy
Stupid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
But just sort of left me with a house and all sorts of stuff and just
Bye-bye. You take care of it now. Yeah.
Damn.
but you and we had a business and everything. We just
Oh,
did that.
wow.
Wow.
He was like, peace out, homie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Literally at the same time, my wife, I came home one day and the entire house was cleared out except for the mountain of shit she didn't want.
Oh
Mountain of
my
shit.
And
She didn't want.
God.
I've got like a mortgage that was
Oh.
paid too, and I was barely. I mean, I had just gotten fired not just once but twice from entry level positions.
This is a dollar
Like,
story.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is
a
Dollar's
Dollar's story.
story. Yeah.
And came home one day, and I shit you not, like the bed's gone, the couch is gone, the TV's gone. I think did she take the fridge?
The fucking fridge. Did
you
she
not?
took the
Somebody-
fridge?
That's a burly ass woman.
When,
Ah.
so the thing is we were shooting.
Yeah, we were
just-
both
we were
fucked. We were
kind
both
of
fucked.
comparing notes back and forth on Facebook.
On who's more fucked
Yeah,
than the
yeah,
other one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just sort of like, and he realized something about me. I wasn't complaining. I wasn't I was just like, this is it. This is
Uh-huh.
what's happening. He's like, so, well, how much longer do you have before you have to leave? I was like, 2 weeks. He's like, wait a minute. Like, where are you going to move with your daughter? I was like, I don't know. He's like, what do you mean you don't? I'm like, I don't know. That part I don't know. Do you not understand?
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
As a person who, and this is funny, we hadn't seen each other in 20 years, but like I said, that street
wow.
bond
hmm
meant that it was fucking unacceptable that my soulmate's child, or I thought Alicia could even take care of herself. I said, but there's no fucking way that I could, live with the indignity and the dishonor of
Yeah.
letting my best friend of all time's child
hmm
Yep.
for 1 second, like I didn't care. I just that was like, it was weird because it snapped me out of like almost like I mean, we were both just going down hard. I mean, like there was no way out of this for either of us.
Right.
This would take another freaking, you'll have to do like a part 2 interview for the strange and magical story of how we got out of the shit.
Well,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Right.
It's beautiful.
First of all, you wouldn't believe the story of how we got out of
Right. But it's beautiful
And
to
I want to hear it.
Yeah, it's beautiful just to hear this part of it because above all odds, at the end of the day, the universe said, you two motherfuckers were meant to be together. Whatever you thought was your course in life, the universe gave you a slap across the face and said, you silly guys, here you are again.
I don't think either of us ever doubted that. That's the weird part. I think it was no surprise to either of us. Then that's the weirdness of our relationship, though. I mean, coming apart and then fusing back together 20 years later is,
Mhm.
by our standards, perfectly fucking normal.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
just one of the reasons that I try to keep Alitra off the microphone, and she's done a really good job, is that if you ask her too many questions, eventually you'll go, there's no way she's telling me the truth. There's no way that ever happened. There's no way. And then, but
I'm telling the 100%.
when you grow up with her, it's a problem.
Right.
Because the first couple of weeks you know her, you're just rolling your eyes all the time. Like, why is she telling me this giant, fucking, horrendously, easily unprovable? Oh my God,
And
she's
then
telling the fucking truth.
And then he pulls up.
And then
to,
you
pulls
just
up to my house to
Yeah, and
meet me
yeah.
one night in New York, and a really famous person is dropping me off. We had been hanging out all day, and he pulls up and he's like,
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, after a while, you just go, okay, whatever, man. Like, yeah, I get it.
Okay. Wait,
I
hang on.
love
hang on,
this.
Hang on.
I love this
Because there's some
story.
stuff I want to know. Okay,
I
so
love this story.
So when Dallas heard
Graydon.
Graydon.
okay, I'm gonna stick to Dallas.
I like
Now,
Dallas
leave,
too.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Go on,
Okay,
do your
fine,
thing,
go
bro.
ahead.
Okay, so
I've
Go
got
ahead.
you.
so when you heard Alitra didn't have a place to go, and she had 2 weeks to find a place to go with her daughter, at what point did you say, I'm on my way? Or did you just say, pack your things up and come here right now?
I think I said, well, I tried to
Stop puffing so much. Just take little tiny puffs.
it's funny.
Pace yourself.
We both got sick a few weeks ago, and like the remnants of the cough are still there. I mean, it's part of the
Yeah, I hate
getting
that.
old and
Yeah.
then coming up in flus. If it was winter, I'd probably be fine, but it's like allergy season. But no, at first I think I tried to like reason her, the typical way, like, what about your mother? What about your brother? What about your friends? Blah 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 blah. And then finally, when I realized, so I said, all right, I've seen her, throw up the panic alarm before, only to calm down. But I said, look, if you really want, that's it. Like it didn't take me more than it wasn't a day thing. It was more like a couple of minutes of
It was instant.
when I realized that her options were out.
and he realized I wasn't complaining. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a difference, like I said, we've ignored each other's
for 20 years.
No, well, we've ignored like major tantrums and the world is coming to an end because both of us go, okay, yeah, you're fine. But this time, it was clear. It was, but also there was something of a, fuck it, this might be our last shot to pull this off.
I like.
You gotta remember that like I said, we started going to clubs together. We started dancing at the same time, and then I don't think she remembers so much, but we also did our first electronic recording together.
Oh no, I remember.
In probably 1990, 91.
Oh, wow.
First time I ever recorded anything that was, electronic or techno or house. It was a cassette where she and I was on it.
So did you guys like met? Okay, so now you both know you're in dire needs. Alitra comes in, moves in with you. Did you guys just automatically go into like this groove? Like it was instant?
Because it's been 20 years.
Yeah, it was
like,
20
was there any
years.
fear of, is this the same person
And I got
that
a follow
knew?
and I got a follow up question
that
off
was
of that
super
one.
weird.
He was terrified because he was probably thinking, I don't know her. She's
Right.
moving.
Uh-huh.
Well, it was
bringing
weird.
her kid,
Like I said, the
Yeah.
little-
We had questions.
if you look at Facebook right now, if you go on, let's say you went on Facebook right now and you look and there was an orderly presentation of all of your high school classmates, the ones you clearly remember. I promise you, man, if you start looking at those pictures, it won't be the cute little high school yearbook. Some of them have gone fucking crazy.
Oh,
Mhm,
yes.
mhm, yeah.
Agreed.
Right.
So it was she passed the sanity test as many times as I could, and once again, we were street kids together, dangerous little fucks. So, you get pretty quick about.
But wait, hold on.
Well,
Is everybody missing this shit? What?
Right.
Who? What does your fucking sanity test look like? Number one, coming from Dawes.
Okay. Well,
and then number
You gotta
two.
think about this though. Think about this. We're from New York City. One of the things you have to figure out really fast in New York City
Where's your crazy button?
is who the fuck you're dealing with. Because
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's
Are you,
not.
hey, let's go out
Yo.
and have some fun crazy,
When-
or I'm going to end up in
Okay,
jail by
so-
the end of the night.
I just want the fun part. I don't want the
Here's a
jail part.
conversation that I had all the time in New York that I've never had any other place, any other time. Hey, blah, 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 blah. Oh, man, I had a great time tonight, man. We had so much fun, blah, 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 blah. Hey, man, let me get your phone number. I don't give up my phone number.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? These are people that you hang out with like every week at every party. New York has not only has rules, but even the cutthroat aspects of New York has rules.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
get-
everybody knows NYC is rude as
Yeah.
hell.
And
Mhm.
George G's definitely
No,
knows.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the weird.
Weird,
That's
New
the
York-
weird irony about New York.
New Yorkers
are not
rude.
New Yorkers aren't rude,
Mhm.
and we aren't.
They're
mean,
just honest.
and they aren't angry, and it's not. No, not even that.
Mm.
They're direct because you have to be direct. Any dilly dallying, okay? Any politeness, like good morning, all of these politisms that we're all taught are the good and American way of doing things will get you fucked up in New York.
God bless. Damn.
Look, even Wagyu said, who answers calls from an unknown
This is how
number?
we greet each
Yeah.
other.
This is how we're treating each other. Hey,
Hey, yeah.
that's
There's a lot of this.
when
Okay.
someone
All right, wait.
anyone
Wait.
who starts talking to you in New York for any length of time, if they get too many syllables off, the first thing in New York goes, "What the fuck? What?"
He said, "What the fuck?"
Finish.
Okay, hold on.
Finish your
Hold on.
questions
Lamar
so I
has
can-
Lamar
No,
has a
no.
question.
Okay, wait.
Come
Y'all
on,
two wait. Y'all
the
two.
whole story.
Okay, wait. Y'all two wait. Hold on. Time out. Did you get your question answered?
To be honest, I fucking forgot my question.
Okay.
At this point,
And I
because
don't
these
wanna
two
lose it.
motherfuckers over here
They
are
go-
just like,
They go ham right now.
yeah.
They're going
So
ham.
you
Listen,
you ask your question.
I got this question. I need y'all to stay focused, okay? More so, Dawes, your ass got to stay focused.
because
Because
Alitra got it. She got it.
She got
She
but
got
this dude
it.
high as shit
Yeah,
right now. So getting his attention span outside of a goldfish's realm is going to be challenging at this
He
point.
said, "Fly what?"
Yeah. Okay, look. So you guys met at your perceivable like worst moments in your lives. I don't want to say the worst of the worst, but they were not what we would consider good times. And you guys met under those constraints. Now, since then, how have you guys so has anything else bad happened as far as that? I would imagine you guys look at a bad day now like, go fuck your bad day. We had the ultimate bad day together. We power through any kind of struggle now as one. Is that how you guys now operate?
To be honest, the bad day didn't stop until recently, and I'm not talking about like I could point at my new job as being, but even further back than that, I think about 6 or 7 months ago, minus the job stress, which was driving me absolutely nuts. We noticed that we had crossed this hurdle where, there's a point of momentum where they can't stop you, so to speak.
Right.
You've got too much gear. You've got, I've got too much gear to be shut out of performing dollars. You know what I mean? I can never complain. When I did the run through this morning, I can never get and complain that I don't have the gear to get what I get done. So I think very recently we got to the point where we looked around and we realized that all of our daydream stuff, all the equipment, all the tools, all the hobbies, the things that we decided that if we're going to go down, we're going to go down swinging for, we achieved them. And that was, phase one. Now phase two was both of us had a big career change recently that, both of us are just doing what we wanted to do now.
It was a struggle.
Yeah, so that what I wanted to say was, and I knew I took a little bad here, but it was 8 years of getting the shit kicked out of us until very recently. And I mean, 8
years together getting the
yeah. And I mean, like until I guess about like if you looked at this room 2 years ago, it's a completely different room. If you look at the rig a year ago, completely different rig. If you look at the history of our recordings, the rig tells you where we've been at financially.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Same with us. I mean, if you look at 2 years ago on our YouTube,
it was just
we're completely different.
Completely. We're not even the same channel, I don't think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's part of evolution. It's part of how you evolve.
I'm gonna tell this story one day in a video on my channel, but so my annual salary was almost the exact same number as my cash debt.
Yeah.
Process that. But so picture your average salary.
There's a lot of people out there that can understand that.
Yeah. Imagine, you're in your 30s. So whatever you were making annually in your 30s, imagine the amount of debt that you have to pay back monthly is equal to that, almost to the time. That means that the second the electric bill goes up $10 more, you're fucked.
Oh, you're fucked. Yep.
And that's where we were. And until, like I said, it would take a whole nother 2 hours and you'd laugh yourself stupid because a series of impossible, but I mean, a lot of it was really like just trying to nip and grab at every possible, when they say like, people are down and they don't try hard enough. Holy shit, did we try to make a dime every fucking chance that we could, any honest way that we could, because it was just that bad. I mean, it just got, and then boom, 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 a couple of series of almost impossible miracles later, and we're going, holy shit, did that just happen? Are we fucking out of debt and surrounded by synthesizers?
And the thing is me coming in with a daughter and not wanting to put pressure on him. So me still having to sort of sustain as an individual with a kid.
Right.
So when you live in certain neighborhoods, they're like, well, what's up with?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of talking.
And we're just like, it ain't none of your business. Why you
talking and judgment? Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
if it's not one thing, it's another. So, but still trying to maintain a certain type of autonomy for me being a single woman with a kid.
Yeah.
Being with my best friend that I grew up with and caring about his previous situation, which he had just come out of, and my previous situation with which I had just come out of. And what people don't understand is when you have two different worlds colliding, if one of you has to be sane, like
Mhm.
one of you, and that
Or
was me.
remotely sane, somewhat sane.
Hold on. No. At first, you can ask me anything without me being like, what? But then somewhere along the line that shifted. And then he was the one who was just like, what? I'm here, but I'm not here. So once we both sort of leveled out, because he was in debt. It wasn't that I was in debt. I was just broke. So I had no debt. I was just broke.
I had no money.
I had no money. So, which is another story all in itself. But so when you come, and what a lot of people don't understand is when you come from a situation where you're moving from one place to another, you're adjusting, you're figuring stuff out. You have a wonderful person who is taking you in. Everybody's saying, so what's going on between the two of you? My thing at first was, why does it always have to be what's going on between the two of you? What if there's nothing going on? What if we're just friends? So we started working on music and it slowly started to come together. Like, it wasn't just like an instant, like, bam,
Yeah.
we're back in the swing of things, you know, we skip a beat. No, it was a madhouse. It was a madhouse. And then, like he said, a string of weird events just happened where you meet the right person, you work for the right person, you do the right thing. And then all of a sudden, you wake up one day and you're out of debt.
Yeah, it works.
It works. It just worked itself out.
Yeah.
I think
So how long did it take for that moment to happen from when you guys reunited till boom? Oh, okay, this works. How many years did it take for that?
Financially, like I said, it wasn't without getting to the whole story, the hilarious part was I think things got better after COVID. My career had always been the main obstacle. I didn't have I was stuck in an apprentice mode. You know, it was always, you know, an assistant and never could get all the information because I ended up working for people that didn't have all the information.
Right.
You know, I think only once or twice did I work for somebody that was a full-blown pro. And then the other times, you know, I was working for people that were, you know, a little bit better than me, not great. So, and a lot of them were doing like I would have done, is trying to hog all the glory. You know,
Right.
hard jobs come up, when the complicated ones, the expensive ones, they want to be the ones to do it because they want to get the experience. So I spent years and years and years, you know, like the little brother, come on, when do I get to play? Come on. And it wasn't until I think one day that I just decided, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I'm going somewhere that I'm not qualified for. And I'm going to bamboozle the shit out of them. They're going to fucking hire me and I'm going to fake it until I make it. And I did that for a series of jobs quite successfully until I tap danced my way into a career that I didn't even see coming. I didn't know it existed. And then one day I just like, oh my God, this is it. This is what I should be doing. So the culmination of skills, and then for her, the same trajectory. It's, you know, year after year of doing, you know, a job, and every year I would hear the first year, you know, screaming and crying, and then the second year, you know, less crying, but definitely still some screaming, and then third year, you know, a little less screaming, but you know, a whole different weird energy happening. And then all of a sudden this year, she, you know, did the job, started the same career, and I noticed that it was quiet. Nothing dramatic came out of
no
the
screaming.
and I realized, oh, she's got it. And I said, well, if I notice it, they'll notice it, meaning the corporate fucking over.
Mm-hmm.
And, she got the promotion, and
So what do you guys do, if we don't mind asking?
she does tax prep, and I'm what do you call it? Technically, I'm an HVAC guy, but
Okay.
I'm more like a contractor, like
I love Alicia's job more because I'm a payroll accountant.
Yay!
So yes. So I can understand her world.
Yeah.
And probably have a ton of shit ton
Alicia
of
makes
questions for her.
Alicia makes jewelry by hand.
And
Oh.
okay, and I just started too.
Resin jewelry.
Yeah, I just started doing resin, and we just did a clock for one of our clients, and we want to incorporate resin in there too.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. Yeah. So I just started carving, but I used to wrap crystals and solder and all sorts. But recently I've decided to do lost wax
Oh, okay.
casting. So
Yeah.
We'll
So
see
are you selling your stuff anywhere?
no, not yet. Not yet.
No, not yet. Okay, same. Yeah, I have a bunch of inventory that I haven't posted yet. I'm just not ready to post.
Yeah, we were talking about that today. We wanted to start building up our supply.
A good inventory, right?
Yeah, because you want
Yeah.
people at least a cohesive
Mhm.
collection, something that says you, something that they can. So so we try to avoid same thing with the music. I mean, there's been little glimpses where people have said, "Oh, you guys should release this," and they can always tell you that as a house music snob, like, no, this is crap. Who wants to do that? What I would rather do is wait till I have all of the skills that I need to make a track, and then release a cohesive series of tracks rather than, oh, I think this one is cool. Maybe it's great. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Now we have reached that point. I think the objective originally, and the funny thing is that the conversation about this rig, so the rig that you see there, I did that on a piece of paper 8 years ago. So probably the second day she was here. So the first day she was here was really weird. I mean, seriously, if we had camera footage of us in the house from those, it probably looked like something out of like a Darren Aronofsky film, because we didn't really sleep for 2 days. We just traveled at each other, all of everything that went wrong in our lives for 2 days, and then it switched at some point to music, and I tortured them with all of this hidden underground music that had been driving me crazy, that my wife couldn't even be bothered to listen to. I was like, finally, I got a victim who's going to sit here and listen to all this weird shit. And so basically what I did was I ended up brain dumping my entire outlook on music at that point. And I came to the conclusion at the end of that conversation, I said, well, fuck all this DJing shit. I wish we could just get a bunch of synthesizers, one side for you, one side for me. And then instead of DJs, you could make a house track on the left, I could make a house track on the right, and we'd mix it. And that was the original plan. And the way this rig came about, this rig is literally that drawing of every element I would need. So I drew an 808. You need an 808 per house. You need a 909 per house. You need a 505. You need a 707. You need a 606. So you didn't have a TR-8S at the time. You didn't have the IRA at the time. So this was a pie in the sky fantasy. This was never going to happen. We're never going to have this set up. So this drawing that I did, this ultimate drawing of what you would need to improvisationally DJ house music from synthesizers, drum machines, and samplers, actually became technically feasible in the following year. So about a year or two later, we started seeing, what's this Volca thing? Oh, that's a toy, isn't it? And no, holy shit, that thing does work. And that's when you started seeing the Korg, when they brought back the Electribes. So there was this hint, wait a second, we could pull this off, but it was juxtaposed with the ultimate horror of abject poverty. I
Mhm.
mean, it can't be understated how broke we were. I mean,
Yeah.
we food
Well,
bank diving, we were dumpster diving. No, seriously, my kids joke if my kids were here, they would tell you that at one point every piece of furniture in this house came out of a dumpster.
so
Uh,
how many kids do you have,
Wow.
Dallas?
2.
Two.
2.
And Alitra, you just have the one daughter? Just one. So three together.
Still living with you.
Yeah. Are all three of them with you guys?
No, the 2 of them live with their
Their
mother.
moms. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's just the beautiful daughter that we saw living
Yeah,
with you
my
guys.
couch wart.
It's funny. It's funny
Couch
because
wart.
it's funny because you guys so you had like this whole drawing of your rig, right? And then you finally were able to achieve it. When we
It
were
was-
setting
Because the hard part about it is that as this whole revolution of desktop affordable synthesizers unfolded, we couldn't afford any of it. I'm
Right.
not kidding.
Yeah.
I want to do I'm everyone does their stupid video on gas, and I want to do my personal video on gear acquisition syndrome. You have no idea how horrible it was. I would be up until 6-7 o'clock in the morning until it was time to go to work, to my horrible slave job,
Mhm.
researching synthesizers, trying to find one synth that would
Right.
solve any of our problems that we could absolutely positively afford, and always coming up with zero. We didn't get a Volca
Yeah.
until one day after like the 5th attempt at a credit card. Capital One, in their evil bastard glory, gave us a
Yeah.
$200
It's
credit.
always Capital One.
They gave us a $200 credit limit. No, here's
Yeah.
the worst part. Here's the worst part. Check this out. They give us a $200 credit limit card at like 30% interest, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
The Volca costs $200.
Yeah.
The cables cost whatever they cost. So that's like $215 plus tax.
hmm
All I had was the $200 limit.
Yeah.
So that's how broke I was. I had to wait until I somehow found a website where I could split the payment into 2 because 215 was too much. That's how
Yep.
Yeah.
poor we-
Yeah.
But
Right.
doesn't ZZ
But-
Sounds or something like that
ZZ Sounds
lets
does
you get the
yeah.
equipment first
Uh-huh.
And
and then
yeah.
make payments?
Yeah.
I can't remember who the first one I took advantage of, but I think like after one more 50 billion sleepless nights, I think I did discover either American Music Studios or ZZ Sounds, and one of them had easy credit terms and
Yeah, ZZ Sounds doesn't hit your credit, and they don't do a percentage. They don't do an
yeah, it was
APR.
definitely one of those was like the
Yeah.
first thing. And
But we did the same too for our studio. Like when we were building our studio, we couldn't afford all this stuff right off the bat. So what I did was I
guilty-
printed
Oh, nice big.
I printed everything out what we needed, and as we were able to save up money and pay for it, then I would check off that one piece of paper that we completed it.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did. So for us, it was about elements. What the SH4D does is, remember I said, in my perfect naive vision, you need an 808, a 909, a 707, a 606, because they have all got their sounds. Well, the SH4D puts all that in one package. So that was the beauty of the desktop synth revolution, is that you started seeing 303 clones that were not just mail order unobtainium, that took like 3 weeks to get a reply from them and a year for them to build the thing. You started seeing analog drum machines return that weren't, the 909 or 808 level used gear prices. And, but at the same time, seeing our level of debt at the time, I mean, the heartbreak was real. It wasn't until we discovered the horrible joy of selling gear that. So a lot of people, when they say like, oh, well, you've got a cool rig of premium gear, they don't realize like a lot of that is trades and buying and selling until one day we ended up upgrading. If I got advice for people about getting your hands on gear, never be afraid to check your local synth nerds and find out what they will willingly trade.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to tell you what someone traded me that Octatrack for. I'm embarrassed to tell you what someone traded me my analog 4 for. The one of those pioneers, the trade was because these trades just seem unreasonable to me. Like it was almost like they're trading me, like they're giving me their Porsche for my Chrysler LeBaron.
Well, it's like that saying, someone's trash is somebody else's treasure.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Is don't be
Yeah.
like, don't be worrying that that the trade seems unequal. Ask for the trade, man, because like I said, you don't.
Because if they see a good thing out of it, then at the end of the day, it's a good
I've got
trade.
some sense now that people would love to have, kill to have, and they're sitting collecting dust because I forgot all about them. And so there's a guy
along
out there,
with those 2 other mics.
yeah, okay, exactly.
Damn. Unless that person,
And
Unless
within
that-
2 weeks, he's going, "Where did you put the microphone?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I don't even know what microphone you're talking about." He's like, "You know, you saw it." I was like, "I saw it for like 2 seconds." This is why you give me stuff and let me find some place to put it. And then he's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, you'll be buying another one in a couple of weeks."
Damn.
unless that person you guys are talking about, like the trading stuff. There's one guy in particular back in Phelan, and I had this stiletto bass. It was a 4-string bass. I paid like $7 for it, and we were heavily into horses back then. And so the guy traded me a
60-foot round pin.
60-foot round pin. Okay, and that's to keep your horses in and do all the workouts and hot walk them and
training.
Okay, we made the trade, no problem. Not even a day later, he comes back at me and he's like, "I didn't get my money's worth." And I said, no. That's not what the trade was. We had established the goddamn bartering system then and there. You can't come back and Indian give and say you want more.
Right.
At first, you wanted to play the bass guitar, and this is your, you felt it was a good deal. Now, all of a sudden, it's not a good deal. Now, in my mind, hell yeah, I came out on top of that.
I had my work situation. The job that I quit. It was one of those simultaneous quitting firing deals, and but of course they
mutually separated.
No, not mutually separated. No, it's literally it's a simultaneous thing. One of us beat the other one to it. They beat me to it by a couple of minutes. When they fired me, I was feeling smug because I'm like, any minute now I'm gonna get that call and I'm gonna quit this job. And then they called me into the office while I was waiting for the call to get my new job, and they fired me. And I was like, wait, what? Wait, I get what? He came home
and he was like, "They can't do that to me." I was about to say,
How dare they do that to me?
that one girl really didn't like too much, turn around and dump you, and you're like, "You can't dump me because wait a minute." I was like, "Great, just chill. It's okay. It's okay."
It literally, I wanted to quit that job so bad, but they're firing me like for like a week. Traumatized me. I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like, and I was like, and the thing should be like, why do you even care? You're gone. You got a new job. Like, no, I'm still pissed off. That why did they?
I literally walked into the room. I said, "Is this what you wanted?" And he went. I said, "Is it what you wanted?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Hush," and I walked.
Shit, like I said, it's like getting dumped by an ugly girl. You're like,
That's exactly what he said to me. I'm
Yeah.
ugly. Oh my god, I was embarrassed.
Oh
to
my
show
God. He said it's like getting dumped from an ugly girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Damn.
But getting
Okay.
fired from a job and
That you
quitting a
really
job
wanted
is
to-
2 different
It
emotions.
is. It's like getting dumped from an ugly
Yeah,
girl.
quitting a job is like liberation.
Oh.
Getting fired is as what he says it is. It
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, it's being
horrible.
smacked across the face.
Yeah. Dallas, why house music? Why did you guys choose house music?
We were in New York City when house exploded. And if you weren't in New York, Chicago, Detroit, tiny parts of the West Coast, not as much as you think, and the UK, in all of those places, the music changed from what we called club music, which was kind of like a mishmash of R&B remixes, Latin freestyle, electro, uh, and kind of like a post pop disco. It was disco, but it was different tempo, different. It didn't have any of the elements of disco. It just had the beat, and it was a very 80s thing. And then all of a sudden, one day, uh, house music arrived, and we had heard house music before, but now it was starting to show up everywhere. I think the first house tune that really got my attention was Todd Terry. What was that song? It was like Bango to the Batmobile.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we noticed it was that like you had all these little imported cars driving around town with. Back in the day, people would get like these giant 15 12-inch speakers and put them in the back seat. Screw your friends, that's where the speaker goes.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you'd hear like these loud systems going through town playing Bango, which is basically techno. And it just got really infectious. So you started hearing it show up on the radio, and then one day it wouldn't stop, like song after song, and it's what everyone was talking about. And then the fashion changed, and then so there's a documentary, I was there the year house took over the world, and it really is kind of worth watching.
Is that what Terry heard
all the time,
or Larry Heard?
Let's see, Larry Heard. So Larry was in Chicago. We were in New York. So for us, our heroes we weren't thinking so much about Larry Heard at the time. Now when we knew him as Mr. Fingers, in fact, we didn't even know him as Mr. Fingers. We knew him as Fingers Incorporated. And we, from an outsider point of view, we thought Fingers Incorporated was Larry Heard and then these two other guys, but that's more like of a record label fabrication. It was more like they were all on the same label. But that was the invention of deep house, and that's what kind of separated the underground from what was happening on the radio. Now the radio was no slouch. I mean, all of the stuff on the radio at the time, that was what was different about that movement and the current state, is that the radio was playing what was on the underground. And what was further underground, usually after hours or at the smaller parties, was you started to hear Larry Heard, Fingers Incorporated, this deep house sound. The easiest way to identify deep house from that era is not a lot of snare. All the beat is all in the low end. You don't hear the snare a lot. You don't hear the hi-hats a lot. And the arrangements are more heavily reliant on jazz and ambient texture. And New York at the time was still jazz influenced, even in the pop music. I mean, you got to remember that as much as we laugh about it, what's the Kenny G? Kenny G still had a jazz hit, number one jazz hit in like 92.
Smooth jazz, yeah.
Yeah, New York was still smooth jazz, central and underground poetry. So a lot of the deep house elements is what really drove and fueled the New York underground scene eventually, whereas Chicago stayed kind of jacking for a long time. And even got like just way noisier and crazier. They did a lot of breakbeat stuff. They had way more hip hop elements. And at some point, New York developed its own style of house. The first really huge house music hit that I could think of was "Break for Love." And again, like I said, Todd, that was on the radio, and that wasn't just on the radio like as a novelty, like Todd Terry. This became like a chart climber. And as "Break for Love," climbed the charts, all of a sudden you had Frankie Knuckles, Satoshi Tomié, and David Morales released "Tears," and "Tears" was just a certified smash. And this was a house track. It was a deep house track at that. Very smooth, very jazzy, the song, and sung by Robert Owens, who was best known for Fingers Incorporated.
That's who you remind me of, Robert Owens.
Mm.
So when these tracks started taking over, all of the kids that had been, in a hip hop frenzy, all of a sudden were like scrambling, like, what do we do? And, me and Alitra said both. At the time, at some point, it became you had four actually, 4 phases of a black party in New York. First phase was typically was going to be club music, not quite house yet, something like Ghetto Heaven or Colonel Abrams. Then they would move into house music. Then they would play house music, and then right about midnight, they would stop the house music cold, and then they would go hip hop, and everyone would go crazy, and they play hip hop. And after about an hour of hip hop, they'd go into dancehall reggae, and then you'd have an hour of dancehall reggae, and then you'd get house music again, and then at a certain point, the grown folks came in around 2 or 3 in the morning, and that's when the music started changing to underground disco. Which, no, seriously, at the time, yeah, they did ruin it because at the time we weren't super hip to that scene yet.
Yeah.
Believe me, old Paradise Garage people, they're not super friendly. I mean, they just, get your young, gorgeous ass out my way because it is our time. It is our time. It's Diana Ross. It's our. So it took a long time for us to really as dancers too.
What year span is this? Wagyu was asking, Dallas.
89, 88, 89 is when we started going out. 90, 91 is when we never went back home. I mean, we were out. I was still living on Long Island, but
he used to come and stay with me and my dad in the city.
I'd stay anywhere. I mean, I just stayed awake. Seriously, I slept in the LIR, Penn Station. I slept, I waited till dawn, and then I'd go to Washington Square Park in the summertime, and you had to wait until dawn. You didn't want to be in the park after dark, man. The rats alone, I mean, it's insane. You don't even know what rats are like. If you're ever brave enough to walk through Washington Square, it's a small park. It's only two blocks at one block. Yeah, it's a 2x1 block grid, tiny little park. But man, if you walk through there at night, it's literally like 200 rats.
Oh my god!
The sidewalk. Yeah, they disappear by the daytime, but yeah, it was just a weird experience being out all the time. House music was and house music was the first time that you get exposed to gay people. On that level, house music was the first time we were ever confronted with kids from other boroughs. Nose to nose. House music was where the fashion was. It just now hip hop was still great at the time too, which was great
and getting started at its peak. Yep.
Yes, but also about to die.
Right. Yeah. True.
At the same exact time, hip hop. Because so what we saw was this weird trajectory, and come 1992, I didn't want anything to do with hip hop anymore, and on top of that, it had taken a big chunk out of the house music scene. There was the boom bap movement was a completely new thing.
Yeah, Gangstar.
Not only did it
KRS-One.
Yeah.
Not only did it bring a whole new generation of rappers along, it also lifted the boats of some old school rappers. All of a sudden, LL's relevant again. All of a sudden, a lot of people are relevant again because of boom bap and that new sound, House of Pain. What do you call it? Naughty by Nature. That whole new radio friendly top 40 hit MTV smash video sound pushed house music out the club and brought hip hop in because it made hip hop friendlier for the dance floor, the boom bap. And then all of a sudden the squares showed up, the suburban kids that weren't trying to find something cool. They just wanted to get into the party. And then by the time the 90s, early 90s rolled around, clubs that would have never played hip hop except for that, like I said, that one little window where they would play the hits, all of a sudden were now hip hop only clubs. And then you see DMX show up, Tupac, NWA, and are broken up, and Eazy-E is at war with Dre. Ice Cube is at war with Eazy-E. You know, West Coast versus East Coast. And by 92, 93, you wouldn't fucking set foot into a hip hop club unless you were crazy.
Right.
The violence was just, it was expected. It was like the movie Roadhouse. You just knew that it was going down sometime, some way in this party tonight. And the bigger the party, the more afraid you were.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, so we grew up with hip hop. We're literally just a few years older than hip hop. In fact,
excuse me, I am the same age as him.
Yeah, she's the same age. I'm about.
Literally am.
Well, you know, when you live in New York, you're at the epicenter, so you can witness it happen from the streets before it ever hits the radio, before anyone's ever uttered the word rap. You kind of knew what rap was from these scratchy cassettes. And the funny thing is that in those days, even cassettes were kind of a rare thing. The only cassette players were the only portable cassettes were these things they had in classrooms with a handle, and they would play like audio tapes for films and stuff like that. So, you know, so we saw hip hop evolve. Her brothers got involved in it. We got involved with it on the periphery and as dancers, but all of a sudden, it didn't represent any fucking thing that we were about anymore. It's like when we talked about before about, I thought I was a liberal until faced with liberals and going, wait a second, no, I don't believe in any of that crap. You guys are crazy. All of a sudden, hip hop was about something that we were never about. You know, it's funny. Hip hop used to be for the cool kids, and then one day, like the bad kids showed up, and they liked it and they stayed, and then they made it their own. So we're like, wait, whoa. We've been hip hop since forever. LL wasn't a fucking gangster. Run DMC weren't gangsters. Rakim wasn't a gangster. And then you'd already gone through the revolution of De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest. These aren't fucking gangsters. What the fuck? Where's all this shit coming from? And like I said, we were street kids. These sons and daughters of bad people. Okay. Trust us when we know fucking gangsters. And every time you turn on the goddamn radio or you turn on MTV and someone's talking about they're a gang, you know how few fucking real gangsters are on the fucking world and shit. I remember being freaked out by Snoop Dogg because
one of our wait, I'm gonna stop you there, Dallas. One of our good buddies, half God, half moon. We call him Bicky. He's right. From my brother and I in Long Beach, California, and during 90 to 96. Especially during the Tupac era when the West versus East was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
The epitome of it.
Long Beach, California, at that time, I'm telling you, if for those of you that don't know, Dog Pound was in full effect. My brother and I had front row seats in the city streets. It was fucking mental. It was chaos. You couldn't go to a house party without somebody dying.
Right. Which is so ridiculous.
I remember walking the street in the 90s in like 1990, 91. I hated walking down the street in my suburban gentle home because the image of drive-bys was just this constant. And now we didn't really have drive-bys, but it was a daily occurrence on the news. And all of a sudden,
it was the forefront on the news.
Hip-hop decided they went from stop the violence to, oh, no, we are the violence. And my problem was, okay, so here's a true story. And Alicia's probably got a million more of these than me. I'm riding the Long Island has a bus, the MTA. I forgot what is the Long Island bus called? I can't remember what the Long Island bus is called. But anyway,
she's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
One bus goes from our town to the mall, and it's about a 30-40 minute ride by bus. So I'm on this bus one day, and Oh, so I get to the mall and I'm at the mall and I'm leaving the mall, and as I'm getting on the bus,
Roosevelt Field?
yeah, to Roosevelt Field and the N40.
Yeah.
So I jump on the N40 and I'm waiting on the bus, and then right behind me, before the doors close, two kids jump on the bus behind me, and they get on, and I recognize them immediately, and they sit behind me, and it's Jerobi and Fife from Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called Quest.
Oh,
Whoa.
what?
Now you think like, what do you mean Jerobi and Fife from Tribe Called Quest were on the N40 bus? So you mean before they were famous? And no.
No. During they're famous. Yeah.
Yeah, during the at the height of their fame, they're fucking broke.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't tell you, and she can't tell you how many rappers you would meet in New York City that you knew very well, and they were doing, I don't know, maybe almost as good as your parents.
Mm-hmm.
But your parents weren't doing that.
Barely doing good.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
all of
yeah,
a sudden,
that's-
one day we wake up and we're supposed to believe that fucking every fucking rapper is a billionaire. Every
No.
rapper like the one thing you know in New York City is who's who and what's what. Okay, you look people in the eye, you know
Yeah.
exactly where you stand in the pecking order of things, and down to the raw essentials, the lethality of it. Okay, will this motherfucker kill me or can I take him? And that's a real deal thing that you have to deal with hourly, depending on what fucking corner you walk down. So when you turn on the TV and everyone talking about what a gangster they are, and you're like, man, you know how few gangsters. Her father was a fucking gangster. My father was a fucking gangster. Dangerous fucking fucks. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we were kind of scared of growing up because their word was real. You know what I mean? Like, real. When they said that you were gonna die, they weren't fucking around.
This way, my father worked as an actor, like I said. He used to tell me, as long as you're home before I get home, we're fine. If
Yeah.
I'm home first and I see you coming through the door after me, we're not fine.
Yeah.
So I made sure I was home at 5 because he got home at 5:30.
Yeah, and my family was,
Right.
don't bring
Yeah.
the police to our door.
But then again, sometimes I would meet him. And this one night I was coming to meet him. I was coming home from a club and I was going to meet my father. Walking up the block to meet him at the club he was working at. And I see cop cars and everything. There's my father standing there with 2 knives in him and a gunshot wound.
Jeez.
He still has one of the guys in his hand and the other 2 are being locked up, put inside.
Yeah. Well,
So-
he's stabbed and a gunshot wound.
My father didn't have to say much in order for me to go, yes, sir. You didn't.
Yeah, no. Our fathers
Yeah.
our fathers were both legit scary bad men that could disappear you with a phone call.
Yeah.
Not because they had juice, not because they had power or influence. It's because they
They could.
fucking people.
Yeah.
And they, like I said, a lot of people. New York back then was a lot more serious, and her father was second generation Irish, so his parents were, talking like leprechaun Irish.
It's funny because there could be like a
My
movie
father-
or a
my
TV
father-
show written about your guys' lives.
Yeah, for real.
both of us are Catholic, so both of our families were traumatized by New York City Catholicism.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's another thing people don't. The Jewish people, they get a lot of press about the stress of being in a Jewish family, but I don't think people realize just how horrible. I escaped it only because my father was so traumatized that he banished religion from the house.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good for him. Okay. So a question just popped in my head. And it's probably not going to be a really good question, but I'm so curious as to what Dallas and Alitra, sorry. I want their opinions on this. Only because I'm in the industry and stuff for my line of work. I'm curious as to what you two think about the whole P. Diddy thing. And that laugh right there tells me
That's a New York.
everything.
That's a New York ass
That
laugh right there.
laugh, that
Did he
laugh
do it?
told me everything.
Did
I have
P
to
Diddy do it?
Hold on a second here. I have to clarify.
Her laugh told me everything.
I have to
You don't
clarify.
have to clarify anything. Her laugh
So
literally told me everything.
You stepped in on a minefield here.
Okay.
I know I did. That's why I
Alicia
asked.
Did have front row access to P Diddy.
And why do you think I asked?
Okay.
Well, she danced for.
Hold
Let me tell you,
on. Let's hear this. Let's hear
You don't
this.
have to hear the details on Diddy
No.
because I'll just blurt it
No.
out for you. There's a lot of people in the business that are just as awful in real life.
Yes,
as
I
you
agree.
believe.
I
Like, there's
paid
no-
many
there
of
was
them in
never
my
any-
history.
There was never
Yeah.
once any controversy about the idea that P. Diddy and the whole Bad Boy crew were scumbags.
Right.
Let's face it. NWA, you kind of got the feeling that there was a bit of posing going on. I have a hard time believing Dre was fucking gangster. I'm just sorry. Okay. O'Shea was
A poser. He's a
O'Shea was
great
not
poser.
fucking gangster. Snoop Dogg was not fucking gangster. I remember
No. Stop.
Fake it till you make
stop,
it.
Stop.
I'm not
Stop.
dissing Snoop. I
No.
know Snoop Dogg was tripped
I'm
up.
not. I don't care either way about Snoop, but I'm gonna tell you right now, he was part of 21st Street. And when we say he was in the hood,
He was in the
mashing
hood.
on foods with his crew.
I remember being scared. I remember being
he was
scared
banging.
by Snoop Dogg in the first video. I'm like, this guy is fucking intense. and
Look,
shit.
I love how this
My
question
point
got
about Snoop
Dallas
Dogg
to
not being
grab the
scary
mic.
is-
Mm-hmm.
My point about Snoop Dogg not being scary is this: a quote from Eazy-E set my brain right about Snoop Dogg.
Mhm.
Someone was interviewing Eazy-E, and he was like, "Isn't Snoop Dogg like tough?" And he's like, "Snoop Dogg is fucking 6 foot tall and weighed 130 pounds. Who the fuck was he gonna fight?" You know what I mean? From a dude who was not, who was known to be like a real fighter. So,
Mhm.
my point about hip hop earlier was that is when this whole image of you got to be thugged out or you got to be the gay rapper, those are your two options. You're either De La Soul or you're shooting your enemies dead. That split was a little hard for us because, like I said, we grew up with gangsters. We lived
Mhm.
under that weird aegis and that weird code. So
Right.
I just got tired of it, man. Like everyone declaring themselves a badass. It's like I was like, come on, man. Like,
Okay. So answer my question. What do you both
P. Diddy
think
is
about P Diddy?
no. That's there's some people when you hear about the news from them and you go, yeah, no, that's true. Like, is it concert? Is it? What do you? No. Let's skip all the bullshit. 100% true. I don't have any personal recollections of it. My brother got invited to a white party and it seems just up my creepy brother's alley. But I mean, I could have told
Creepy
you.
Brothers Alley.
I mean, I could have told you. There's a lot of people when you see them and you realize, like no, they really are just that bad. They really do
Mhm.
think themselves above everything. And I think P. Diddy had a really strong and big hand in ruining hip hop for us all nationwide. When he made it an arms race of money, creativity dried up. I remember the first time he did the Hypnotize video and he bragged. It was like, yeah, it's first time a hip hop $1 million video. Well, guess what? Every fucking hip hop video that came out after that was $1 million fucking hip hop video.
Mhm.
That's a problem. I'm talking about fucking my favorite rappers were riding a goddamn bus. Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
75 bus.
They probably still are now.
And 2
Right.
years later,
Yep.
P. Diddy's fucking doing yacht videos with helicopter chases and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all talking about shooting each other. It's like
Mhm.
I just Nirvana had hit, and I just went full alternative rock.
You ain't the only one.
It's definitely not hip hop. It was
I-
definitely not
yeah.
hip hop to me.
It was gangster
I want
rap.
to. I
just
want
found-
to.
I found it boring. I remember the first time I heard. I went to a West Coast nightclub and I heard 187 by Snoop, and it was the first time ever in my life I had heard the uncensored version. And I didn't realize how many curses are in the uncensored version. But I also, as a DJ and as a music fan, realized it sounded like shit.
Mm-hmm.
The
Right.
flow
Yeah.
was completely gone. It just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
Poor
shoehorned all this
grammar, poor
violence
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
into it to just for the sake of it. And I'm like, man, I'm
Well,
out.
if they keep you dumb and stupid, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just
They can get you to spend money.
I couldn't be bothered with hip hop after that because
Yeah.
it just didn't speak to my life. Hip hop used to speak to my aspirations. You know what I mean? It used to speak to and then when I got to a certain age, it spoke to my life. And then
Mhm.
one day I woke up and nothing about hip hop
Yeah.
resembled anything.
So I want to hear from your beautiful,
Hip-hop
lovely woman there about Diddy. What do you think
no,
about
you
the
do
whole
not.
situation?
I'm trying to tell you, you don't want to hear from her.
No, I do. I absolutely do want to hear from her. Yes, I do.
She's laughing. You don't know because we
No,
all
no,
know
no.
the Diddy stories.
I do want to hear. Absolutely, I do.
Any bad person. Yeah, you know,
Alitra,
bad thing-
Alitra, tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Tell us.
Woman. Speak.
You don't want to be in the same room with some people. Look,
Dallas, go warm up the coffee. That way you don't have to be in the same room.
well, I mean, you
Let her
don't-
speak.
One of the reasons you don't want to go down this rabbit hole, honestly speaking, is that you've named people that you probably think are wonderful heroes of hip hop, and she knows.
Oh,
different.
we know. Yeah,
I'm
we know.
Okay, I want to
No, no,
hear
no.
this, Dallas.
Yeah.
I want to hear this. I'm asking to go
People
down
who
this
have-
hole. I'm asking to.
I'm
I
talking
want to
about
go
people
down
who
the
have
hole.
zero reputation as a bad person. She's
Mhm.
got details on, and it's not as fun as you think to find out.
Put a poll
For
up.
real. I mean,
Put a poll
Okay,
up.
look, I've been in law enforcement for 10 years. You trying to tell me I don't know what people can do to each other or I don't know what a bad time? I've seen some shit that'll make you not want to even see some shit.
I will blow somebody up though. I will blow somebody up though. This is somebody
Okay.
that I will shit on gladly, even though it might get me stabbed. KRS-One.
Watch over him tonight.
KRS-One.
Hey boy.
Oh,
a
KRS-One. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a
Oh, we know.
I
we
know that through.
we know that.
I know that through the 5%ers because my older brother used to be a 5%er, and he told me a lot about KRS-One's ego.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that-
No, KRS-One pretty much thinks that he is the living avatar of hip hop and forever and all will be. It's the same trip that the Beastie Boys are on, except the Beastie Boys at least have the you could say, okay, you guys are silly, but we'll let you have it because you're the Beastie Boys. But KRS-One really truly believes himself. I mean, honestly, you don't even hear that kind of bullshit from fucking Run DMC. You don't.
Right.
You seriously don't hear it from Rakim, who I think.
Rakim is always.
And according to Alitra, I've never met Rakim. He's one of the few people from the golden era that I never met. According to everyone that's met Rakim is just chill.
You can tell
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah,
everything
and Big
about
and
Rakim.
Big Daddy Kane seems
Mhm.
chill too.
Yeah, so I'll pass the microphone to her. I don't think she's got any so many super specific stories about people, but you do know in New York City specifically, things. For example, I mean, like the world just figured out like 2 years ago or some bullshit that Queen Latifah was gay. I mean, like that was pretty fucking
Shocker. Really? You
Yeah.
didn't figure that
No, I
out?
mean, in New York, it just passed. And Queen Latifah, MC Light. It takes about 5 minutes for any black celebrity below Hollywood level. Their business will trickle down to the average street kid in New York. That's the weird thing about it.
Yeah.
Is as huge as New York is, black street level gossip will travel. And yeah, man,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's at the end of the day is who has the money, who's controlling everything, and who can put the money out to control
Right.
stuff.
Oh, okay, Alitra, let's go. But before you go, Azio has said, "Love tried." By the way, Dom produced them right.
Question mark.
Question mark.
And 67% of the poll says yes, we want to hear from Alitra.
There you go.
Oh goodness. So
Mhm.
I
Speak
guess
your truth.
the best way to put it, well, this is when I was doing dancing / modeling,
Hmm.
and I was invited to a white party, and who in their right mind would turn it down, right? I was
Right.
invited.
Yeah.
A person who was going to the party had me on as a +1,
Mhm.
right?
So a Diddy party is called the white party?
Yeah, the white party.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So
How old were you at this time?
19.
Oh, so you were of legal age. Carry on.
Yeah. So I walk. So of course, you when you go into a situation, you come bearing gifts. You just you get invited to something. You walk in. You want to be as gracious as possible. You want
Right.
to introduce yourself. You want to just be gracious to the host.
Right. Yeah.
So I walk in, and the person, we get out of the limo, we get up to the door, we're talking, we're enjoying ourselves. I literally walked in. The person who I was with walked ahead of me. I looked and I went,
Mm.
I know you, and I know you. I'm out.
Yeah.
And the person who I was with walked into the party. I did not bother to turn around. I turned right around, started to leave.
Mm-hmm.
As I was leaving, it was sort of like, well, where is she going? And I was just like, this isn't my scene.
Mhm.
I knew the people who I saw there, I knew what they were into.
That's our skill
Right.
At that age, believe
Right.
it or not. That's
Yeah. Knowing your environment
Yeah.
at that age.
You knew.
that's what
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
and I, she's, we filled the gaps in each other's blind spots. And she said, that one of us is crazy, one of us is sane. What I wanted to interject is that would flip flop back and forth. Whatever she would go off the rails, I would become extremely stable. Whenever I go off the rails, she becomes extremely stable. And that's how we've kept each other. But the ability to know when to get the fuck out of there
Right.
was what we
Street
had.
smarts.
And that's how we stayed together. We were literally just watching each other's back.
Mhm.
Alitra was 6'1", 100 pounds, and half black, half white, almost shaved head. I mean, everything about her stood out. She couldn't go anywhere without human male attention.
Mhm.
And, from rock stars to street level idiots, and it was problematic. And you often had to extract her minutes before she got locked into a sales pitch. And
Right.
so we gonna
Yeah.
we got the penthouse and so
And I was all, then of course,
Yeah.
me being who I was like, that's nice. And I'm going home now.
Yeah.
So did you walk out of that party, Alitra?
Let me fit it. So it was sort of almost some of the security at the door was almost like they weren't going to let me go.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let's just put it that way.
Right.
And me being the little street rat,
Mm-hmm.
let's just face it, like I was kind of scrappy. I was 100 pounds soaking wet with a 75-pound brick in my hand, but
Right.
you would know I was there. Let's just put it that way. I was like, no, this isn't happening. I literally ducked one way and said, let me go get my coat. They turned around. That coat stayed there. I had my purse on me.
Yeah.
The story of Cher, when Cher left Sonny Bono, she had a trench coat on, and that was it. No pants, no panties, no bra, no shoes. When at that age, like I said, in New York City, when you need to get the fuck out of a spot, you need to get the fuck out, man. And you guys know from Long Beach, man.
Yeah.
You
When
know. You just know.
sign says,
Street smarts.
yeah.
when something,
Mhm.
this something just ain't right about a party, you know what I mean?
Got to go. It's time to go.
There's too few people dancing, and there's a hit song on. I guess there's some tension. We're gonna fucking be out, man. I mean, living in New York City, there's a lot of times when we leave a place, and then you walking down the street, and you're like, man, I'm glad we got bang, bang, bang. You're like, okay, now I'm really glad we got out of there.
But
Mhm.
I can say this much. A lot of the stories that you hear, some of it's just inflammatory. It's people looking to get paid.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For sure.
This answers your questions about when you said why house music.
Right.
None of this shit existed in the house. That
Right.
was the bottom line.
Yeah.
Never saw a fight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Never saw a fucking fight in a fucking house. Well, not fucking one.
Maybe two gay dudes, but other than
Never
that, you know, it's good.
about-
And then at the end of the day, it was all love and love.
Right.
Okay, so you had to be worried for the entire walk to the club, because to get to these clubs, you had to walk through dead zones. No cops, no businesses, just
Mhm.
a street, man, and a lot can happen on a
And-
on a half-mile block with no stores open, no people.
And I imagine this is where Alitra would see these no-gooders at the white party for her to even understand this is not a place where
Well,
I
remember
need
what I
to
said
be.
earlier, that New York is a small place. As big as New York is, it's a small place. So yeah, you do start seeing.
Yeah.
You will see the same creeps. There were people that are just famous to you,
Mhm.
even though you've never met them. Damn, I seen that guy hit nails.
Well,
Damn, I saw him at
it's,
Sound Factory.
it's not just that. Also, when you're a young woman breaking into modeling and you're doing backup singing, you're dancing, you get to meet these people, and a good majority of them are literally, they're not going to offer you anything. They're not going to do anything for you. They just want to see if they could talk you into the bed. And when you're the kind of person like me, where you're like, listen, I'm talented
Mhm.
and I don't need to sleep with you. And if
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
make it that I
exactly.
sleep with you, this is going to be an issue, because I don't do anything I don't want to. So when you run across a number of these types of people, I've had people come after me and be like, oh, it's not like that. It's not like that. It never happened to me. You didn't realize it was happening to you. You just thought
Right. Yeah.
you were
ignored
interested
it.
in doing something. Right. You were interested in being a model. All of a sudden you meet this dude. He's really handsome. He's a photographer. You don't think that you're being set up.
Yeah, how
Mhm.
could you possibly? It must be your talent.
Right. You don't think
Mhm.
you're being set up to sleep with this
Freaking dollars.
Damn.
dick.
Ah.
Yeah.
I think my one gift to Alitra at that time was I was such a hardcore cynic, downer skeptic that I wouldn't let anyone give her anything. I just start blowing. Alitra will tell you, like, as small as I was, I would
Oh my
shut you
God.
down in seconds if you came near Alitra. I don't know what it was, but I thought Alitra was. Oh, first of all, I was very well aware of her age. As
Some may call
as
that
mature
true
as
love.
she acted, it was very aware in my head, like at the end of the day, she's just a kid. She could get in over her head, but she's right. I mean, I wouldn't worry about her in the big picture, because what she said was true. You couldn't have forced her to do anything
Mhm.
at that age
Mhm.
without a broken nose. And let's say you survived the broken nose, you weren't going to survive the phone call to Graydon. Let's say Graydon wasn't around, you weren't going to survive the phone call to Bernie Lenahan. Bernie Lenahan's not there, you weren't going to survive the phone call to her brother. It's just there's just layers of protection, and that was one of the shield that kept her safe running around New York City at that age, is that you knew somebody that knew somebody that was scared of somebody, if you
Mhm.
fucked with her.
Mhm.
And
So were you, hang on 1 second, dollars. Alitra, were you able to get out of the party?
Well, I got out of the party, yes, but as I'm leaving the party, I see two young ladies who look literally terrified. They look like, what did I get myself into? And I literally looked at them. I said, if you want to make it through this night, you come with me. One girl didn't even have her shoes on. She left her shoes there and came with me. We got into the cab because they wouldn't let us take the limo. We couldn't take the limo to the
Right.
jitney. We had to take we left. Yeah, we left. But that's pretty much what it was. And when I look at it, I've never seen two other people so terrified in my whole life. And they looked at me like, who are you to be so cool about this whole situation? And I said,
Mhm.
listen, no one ever makes me do anything I don't want to do.
Somebody
So
died.
yeah, someone gonna get hurt in multiple different ways.
And that was
So
basically our attitude on the street. You know, we knew we were small.
So it was you and two other girls that left that night.
right.
So you
Yes, mine-
essentially.
And they had been there for 2 hours and were,
Oh, jeez. So essentially, for
Yeah.
What was their
he-
story?
Yeah.
hearsay,
God.
you saved two other girls that
Yeah.
night.
What was
Yeah.
what was their story though?
They- well, the story basically was one of them had been drugged. The other one was holding her up.
Well, I mean,
She
Oh.
could barely stand on her
Poor
own 2
thing.
feet.
the funny
Oh
thing
my
about the-
God.
Yeah.
about that era though is that just begun. That's what we're trying to say. That's where we made the split with hip hop, is because when that era kicked in, I mean, we were immediately like, nope. It's
Yeah.
like finding out a family member is you know what I mean? You're like immediate disavow. Once the 90s set foot into hip hop, I disavowed it. I was like, nah, fuck that. That's not me, bro. You know?
And the area that the party was in, I knew some people. So I knew
Mhm.
people who knew people.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so it was really easy for me to get away from.
In the
But-
video for Dre, where the girl goes, where he goes to the girl and they yank the bikini off. I mean, it started in that realm of disrespect towards women, and you started hearing the skits in the songs start to appear, and it's bigger than that. I mean, like I said, the specific incidents aren't the story. The story is, at some point in the 90s, hip hop became the decadent,
Hollywood.
violent joke that rock and roll had gone through
Mhm.
post Zeppelin era, Poison, Motley Crue era. It just, at some point, it gets too fucking out of hand. And
but the reality is, this is the reality. At that point, I had heard a lot of things, seen a lot of things, and I knew a lot of things about him that he was, in my mind, he was who he was. Did I want to really rub elbows with him? Not necessarily. Was I going to turn down the opportunity to meet other people at his event? No. Was I willing to turn it down the second I walked in and saw what type of people were there? Definitely. And the reason being is, you have two things that you have to go on in this life. One is your character, and two is your moral character. If I'm the kind of person who, what I say, I mean. I don't mince words. So when I tell
Right.
you, like I said, a good portion of the stuff that people are saying, those are some of those people are trying to get paid. But 85% of it is what it is. But you have to think, the other thing you have to think of is a good portion of those people. When you walk into a situation, you're in, especially a situation like that, if you want to be famous, more than you care about what people think about you, and you're willing to do whatever you can do to become famous. You can't complain when you get what you get.
If you can't walk out of the party when the party is fucking, then you're not part of the fucking party. You're just a civilian. It's what I hated about the rave scene. By the end of the rave scene, too many civilians, man. I mean, too many freaking suburban kids showed up because they heard about this love drug, and they heard rave girls were sluts, and all of a sudden, you got fucking murders at a rave. Come on, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's like I said. And the other hassle is that, and not to open up a different train of thought, but P. Diddy got caught.
There are tons of other people out there who are just as bad, if not worse,
P.
who
Diddy
have
Really?
got caught.
Mm.
The only reason P. Diddy got caught, how did he get caught? Oh, what the fuck was his? Oh, it was the Jamie Foxx thing.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing about the black community. we will stick by you until the point where your bad behavior turns on somebody that we like better than you.
Right.
Will Smith versus Chris Rock. If Chris Rock had gone on stage and smacked Will Smith, Chris Rock would be a legend right now. I shit you not. But
Mhm.
the other way around, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. That's a no fucking go. So people were really willing to back Diddy until. Oh, and then the other thing is the other hypocrisy of the Diddy thing. People were willing to back Diddy until they heard that there was sex with men involved.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden,
yeah.
whoa,
Oh, they turned.
Yeah.
whoa, he's a
Yeah.
guy. Oh, he's a pervert. Oh, wait, so the
It
raping
was-
of women and
It was
know,
that
that's-
was
yeah,
okay,
that's
right? Yeah.
the second it's a guy involved, oh no, ooh, he's the devil.
My thing is this: I did my part. I did what I could do when I could do it.
Right.
You
yeah.
don't necessarily want to, because I was a nobody, and you know what I mean. What are you
Mhm.
gonna do?
Right.
Except
And
for
that's
what you
what
can do.
and that's what people don't understand is at the time, like they said, well, you were there, you escaped. How come you didn't do anything? Well, at the end of the day, I was nobody compared to the people that were there. The
I
people
was
that
nobody
were
compared to the person who invited me.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yep.
I'll tell you, even as a guy, I've never been kidnapped or held hostage, but you do end up in New York with weird characters who have too much money and too much power,
Hmm.
and you are at a minimum detained. You
Yeah.
know, like you like, dude, can I just want to get up. No, my friend, sit down. You know, and you're like, is this some gangster shit? Like, if I'm gonna get stabbed if I fucking try to walk away from this fucking dude, and you know, I mean, like,
At the end of the day, it's all about money, right? Is who holds the bigger bank account.
But no, I mean, but New York is just so weird. You'd be somewhere and some Arab dude who's sniffing cocaine at a goddamn restaurant table, asking you, do you think his wife is pretty? And you're like, oh my God, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, you're really freaked out, and the kid's laughing, but it's funny.
But it's true though. But at the end of the day, at that moment in time, does that person have more money than you? Meaning,
Yeah, you're like,
if
is
they attack
the
you,
movie
can
gonna
they
get shot?
cover it? Yeah.
Well, your wife is pretty.
Mhm.
Do you want some coke? No, and believe me, I wanted that coke.
God damn, Dulles. Jesus
I didn't want to.
Christ.
That's
All
weird. But
right. We
Yeah.
need to
Yeah. Wait,
That's what,
Dallas, and Elytra. Here's the ultimate question.
Okay, so
Here-
Elytra, I need Elytra to look at that message that's pinned in the chat right now. I need her to email me.
we can't
I-
see. any
Oh,
of the-
for
No,
fuck's
sorry.
It's
sake!
highlighted
really?
in yellow.
Yeah,
It's
we,
pinned.
No, we
It's
don't-
pinned
we
in the
don't have any
chat.
at all over here.
God damn it! All right, fuck with these
Put it, or you
old
can't.
people.
yeah.
Was it about Diddy? Did you see somebody naked?
No, it's
No.
my email address. I want Elytra to email me
Holy
personally.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Okay,
How old
look.
are you fuckers?
Look, here's the ultimate question for the both of you. Is house music and hip hop dead?
I have a definite opinion on both, and I've spent years flip flopping back and forth on both. Go for it.
So I'd say in about 5 years, there's going to be a complete rebirth of hip hop. And at present, the resurrection of house music is really contingent on a couple of things. And it's if we can get people who are younger to not just enjoy it, but be interested in how it was, and interested in the history of it, how it was created, how it's created now versus how it was previously created. If we can do that, the longevity of houses it's here to stay. But hip hop is due for a transformation.
I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, let me give my take. Hip hop first. The mumble hip hop that's going on right now that my kids listen to, guys with the name Lil in their name.
Oh my God, here we go.
The baby.
The baby.
so-
No, little
For a
baby.
long
Yeah.
time, I didn't get that at all, and I saw it as
Grown men with barrettes in their hair. What?
for a long time I saw
Yeah.
that as like degradation of house of hip hop,
Mhm.
and that persisted in my head until after being forced to listen to it over and over again, my brain finally tuned in to what's happening. And I think in a ironic way, hip hop right now has finally evolved at some levels to the level of poetry, whereas before it was always described as poetry and seldom actually reached that standard of poetry. The problem is that now that it has achieved this rhythm, this patois, this cadence that one could describe as poetry, they stop talking about anything fucking interesting, and that's the catch. So I think Alitra is right. I think at some point the black people will abandon anything musical. Promise you.
Mhm.
Everything, the blues, gospel,
They're
everybody's
kids.
gospel, by the way, blues,
He
rock
said
and
they're
roll,
kids.
disco,
Mhm.
jazz. Black people will abandon. Black people en masse will abandon a style
Mhm.
like overnight one day. And I think a lot of people think you're crazy to say that one day you'll wake up and black people won't think hip hop is cool anymore. And I suspect that that day is coming, that you're going to see a sea change. The most exciting things I'm seeing in hip hop from young people today is kind of like a weird hip hop, uh, like techno hybrid. It's fast. The beats are pounding. It's almost like minimal techno and hip hop combined. It's very metal aggressive. As far as house music's going, I think you've reached this point, unfortunately, and people disagree with me. I think house music has reached its mathematical. I think you've run through every bass pattern you could possibly run through. We've run through every chord piano track that you could possibly do. Every breakbeat, every drum pattern has been done at least one time before, give or take the machine or the kits. That's both its charm and its flaw. Because it's become so codified, anybody can do it with enough lessons. I could literally sit you down in front of a computer with Ableton, and we could sit there in a weekend and teach you the general structure of how to make a house track, and you just would have to practice. When I was a kid, as a DJ, you were lucky if there were 10 new house records a week. That was a big week. 10 new house records came out. And in the 90s, it expanded to maybe 15, and then 30, and then 50. I'm telling you that more than 100 records came out since we've been having this conversation. I promise you, more than 100 freaking house jams have been posted somewhere on some site since we've been talking. It is too much music to discern anything like a hit, anything like a banger. You just can't. It's just mathematically impossible for there to be any consensus. So anything that you see that's considered consensus on a website or in a magazine,
It's
that's
preference.
it's bullshit. It's the 3 or 4 record companies that own all of these labels. And I'm not saying that as a conspiracy theory. I'm telling you the truth. Defected owns like 50 fucking labels. So believe me. And then the DJ charts are useless. If you look at a DJ chart for house music, all of his records are first. Then all of his label, like his personal label, people that are on his label are second. The remixes from his old tracks from years ago are third. And fourth are the label that he's signed to now. And fifth, maybe he'll squeeze in a friend.
It's all about the money.
It is.
It's to say it's all about the money is, underestimates the real problem. It's become an accidental gatekeeper system from a group that never intended to be gatekeepers.
But at the end of the day, I don't think it underestimates the problem, because if you are a gatekeeper, that means you have most of the money.
Well, they're not. I don't think that they're. I don't think they think they're gatekeeping. I think that they've really deluded themselves into thinking that they are somehow competing. But even let's say we stripped away the money. Let's say tomorrow we all decided that we're not going to because to tell the truth, she and I had never had zero intent of selling music, and not because we're some kind of hippie commies. We just it's kind of pointless. I'm not putting that kind of energy out there for the $50. At the end of the year, I get a paycheck, and I'm certainly not going to say, well, I'm going to put out 200 fucking tracks, and that $7 that I get from each of those 200 tracks, well, that'll add up. It'll make a great little ski trip to Aspen. No, I'd rather just keep playing, and someday maybe somebody will pay me to show up with my gear, and I'll get more than gas fare home and a drink ticket. So with house music, I think you just reach this mathematical inevitability where everything has been done before. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is, why are we still worshiping the next release? It's kind of pointless. That's why we do what we do. And that's why a great deal of what you hear us do is improv. Now, you've been catching me Sunday morning when I'm feeling lazy. If you ever catch me with enough coffee in me, we could run a straight set for 2 hours and never really repeat ourselves. I would rather go hear a guy give me his music straight from the tap, straight from his synthesizers, straight from his drum machines, than for him to stand up there with this little plastic turntable that's, and tell me that, oh yeah, here, I'm going to play my tracks and just wave at you for the next hour. I'm just going to play them one after the other, all the same BPM. Right. If it's going to be like that, if I got to listen to you play all your own bullshit, because that's where we're at right now, DJs are playing all their own stuff. Fuck it, dude. Show me the work, okay? Show me how you did it. Pull out the fucking drum machine. Pull out the 303. Show your work like Matt. That's what I like about the whole Dallas movement right now.
Right. Yeah.
I think it has one of the reasons that we decided to do Dallas is because we predicted that this Dallas thing was going to happen. And what we didn't want, and we said this day one when she moved in, we didn't want to see house music get passed by in this, because we knew that this was a shoe-in for techno, for drum and bass.
Yeah.
But there is a complexity to making house music that people don't think about, that makes it kind of hard to improv house music. When you see me do it quickly and easily, that's 10 years of daily, hourly trying to
your stuff
mix and trying to find new tricks to make the impossible happen. House music has too many rules. Just rule upon rule upon rule, and you have to learn them all. And you have to give in to them. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna buck the trend. I'm gonna rules are made." No, it won't let you do that. You have to follow rules, and then you can start breaking them one by one.
So I have a question for Alitra. Are we going to hear your vocals or any of these samples?
Maybe.
Maybe soon. Is it maybe soon? When was the last time you did vocals? Let's ask that. When was the last time you did vocals?
I've never done vocals. The reason I got this microphone, funny enough, was I was becoming very aware of all the microphones that I bought. And
3 so far, and you only have 1.
No, that's just the 3. That's just the 3 SM58s. That doesn't count.
Jesus, there's more.
The cardboard mics.
Good.
The thing is I keep finding them. To him, and he loses them again.
No, it's more than that.
You need to put AirPod finder things on them.
Ding, there's your mic.
Vocals were always the last beast.
But they're the most important, I feel like.
One of our problems in the beginning, the first problem we ran into was we had no idea how to make a house drum pattern. And you can see this thing done a million times, and it makes sense in your head. And then the second your fingers start touching the sequencer, the first time you try to make a house drum pattern, there's about 5 or 6 basic mistakes that you'll just keep making. The next part, and it goes through stages where you have to keep learning the new rules and the new elements of house music. And for us, vocals is kind of the easy part. So we saved that one for last. So the microphone that I have in the background, I think you can't see it on camera, is a really nice one. That's going to go upstairs to a different studio that we have upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably going to start making our own vocal samples. But the reason we bought the SM58 that we're holding in our hand is because we wanted a really quality, dependable mic right here next to our rig that we perform on. This is the performance rig. This isn't the sound design rig. We got a sound design rig. This is just what, if we could, this is what we would load into the truck and take to the gig.
Okay. So, Graydon, real quick. I'm cursing Trust My Monkeys right now for suggesting to give you a fucking mic because you won't shut up. I asked Alitra a question. When are you going to do vocals next? So, can we have Alitra answer that question? Love you, Graydon.
Right.
But I really want her to answer the question.
I would love to start sometime soon.
Really? So
Yeah.
so you're ready to do vocals.
Maybe a couple of snippets here and there. Yeah.
When was the last time you did vocals on something?
Wow.
Oh, it was a while ago, huh? I'm curious because I enjoy doing vocals
Before
for,
my
like,
daughter was born. That's
Oh.
16, 17 years ago. Yeah.
What?
Oh wow!
No,
Yeah.
no. You need to get on vocals soon.
You gotta hop back on, girl.
You
That-
gotta do it. You gotta do it. Do you enjoy doing vocals?
Yes.
Okay. You gotta get on it.
It's
The voice changes.
Grayton, what the fuck are you doing? This is
the
your
voice changes, but I'm sure it
but it
changes
gets better.
for a
It's like
different
it's
art
like
style.
it's like
Yeah.
wine, right?
Mhm.
It matures over time
Yeah, yeah.
and it tastes even better.
I'm sure it's palatable and I'm sure it's
Mhm.
sampleable.
Now,
Mhm.
that's
That'll work.
never been the case, not with one
It
singer
is today.
in history. I think the closest I could think of that came to that is you learn your new voice. And that's what this simple $100 mic is about. It gives us a low point of entry to just start practicing, whereas all the expensive mics we bought actually pushed us away. The formality
Right.
scared us. So this cheap $99 mic is us saying we are about to sing.
Mhm. Just be pure to your voice.
Yeah, it's you have to relearn your voice. You know
Yes.
what my voice was
hmm
just 10, 15 years ago has changed. So every
But
year
you also have to be confident in your voice and know that your voice is going to do what you want it to do.
right.
Yeah. And I think that's what Trust My Monkeys, who is the one that you're seeing on screen right now, who is also Lamont, has taught me is to just trust my voice.
Yes.
Let it do what it's going to do.
And-
And when I
yeah.
do
Well,
that,
having had suffered COVID 3 times.
yes.
Damn.
Mhm.
I-
Same.
Yeah.
Same. So
Yeah.
I feel like I was a zero patient, quote unquote.
Patient zero.
Patient
me
zero.
too. I
Yeah.
remember getting sick.
Um,
I remember getting sick weeks before the word COVID ever hit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
here.
flew out to Georgia for a business. So for my work, I get flown out a lot. So I flew out to Atlanta for this movie that I was on, and unbeknownst to myself, I was flying out of Seattle, Washington. The patient who flew into Seattle, who brought in COVID to Seattle, flew in the day before I did.
Wow.
So I flew out of that same airport the day after he did and went to Atlanta for this movie that I did. And within days, my whole production office got sick. Prior to me arriving, everybody was fine. Nobody felt ill. Nobody had anything. But then I show up, and then 2 days later, everybody got sick.
That sucks.
You're typhoid
Yeah.
Mary.
That sucks.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've never gotten the vaccination. I refuse to get the vaccination, and I've gotten COVID 3 times and have fought it ever since.
We
all
got
3
the
times.
vaccination and we got COVID 3 times. I got COVID 3 times. I think you're on number 2.
No, 4 actually.
Yeah, I
Damn.
mean,
Yeah.
we got kicked around by it.
For me, the interesting thing is it was bad the first 2 times. Then I got
Yeah.
the shot. And after getting the 2 shots, I got it again. But after getting the shots and then getting it again, you want to know the interesting thing? I literally tripped for days.
Yeah.
I was sweating. I was hallucinating.
Yeah. That was me the first time I got it in Georgia. I was exactly that same way.
I literally didn't. There was like one night, I think I was sleeping on the couch. I had one foot on the floor.
I couldn't believe how slow time went.
Yeah, it was almost as if I
Every
was in a
single
completely
minute
different
was
reality.
agony.
Yeah.
And I mean, I used to be a medical person now, so I knew that, in all likelihood, anywhere from 7 to 14 days before this thing just kind of disappears. But I also knew that it was 1 o'clock, and I've been miserable since 12:59 and 39 seconds. It just moved so slow. I don't think time has ever moved that slow.
I recently put myself on a herbal fast plus juicing, which seemed to help my breathing a lot. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, you two, there's no way in hell we planned this to be a full-on
No.
interview.
It was just an opportune interview,
it
right? It
just
was just
seemed-
all of a sudden
right.
like, oh shit.
No one else wanted
Here's
to
Dallas.
join in on the conversation. We were originally supposed to have Kent Spong, but I got off work 3 hours later than
way
anticipated.
later.
So
Yeah.
we didn't even know he still wanted to do it.
Oh.
But you guys are something special, and we have to schedule
Another interview.
like fully schedule this.
How about next Sunday? What are you guys doing next Sunday?
Sure, we'll give it a shot.
Well,
So what's your current time right now for you two?
It's 8:50 here.
Okay, so you're the exact same time as us.
Oh,
So
yeah.
how about next Sunday?
Well, next Sunday we probably should get Kent's part 2 or let him confirm that first.
Well, Kent, we can always confirm. It's hard to fucking get a hold of these two.
It is hard to get a hold of these two. They don't seem to do social
No,
media
and they
well.
don't understand me pinning my fucking email to the chat, what that means. It's literally right there in fucking yellow. Just click on that link.
I'm glad you guys keep shouting out the Sunday broadcast. It's never quite what I intended it to be.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, we love it.
But it's always fun to have people show up. One of the hardest parts about this whole house music sales pitch is I don't think people realize just how complicated fucking making house music is.
Oh,
can get it
right. Yeah.
right, but to get it right consistently over and over again, you really have to memorize that formula.
I just had a fucking brainstorm right now. Alteria, where's your daughter?
Alitra.
Sorry, fuck.
That's okay.
Alitra, where's your daughter?
Her name's not important.
She's in the other room.
Okay, have her come in here real quick and look at the chat, and she will understand what I just pinned to the chat. No, she will. She will completely understand what I mean by pinning to the chat. She will see my email address.
Oh yeah, we see it. Yeah.
Oh,
We're
okay.
not that old.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
yeah,
go.
that-
Well, shit. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Don't
act
let the
old.
gray. She's been gray since she was 25.
I mean, you act old.
Wait, Dallas, Graydon. Just so you know, I'm Moser 505.
Oh, wait. Okay, put your hand up.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah.
That's
so when you see
Moser.
me on there, that's I'm Moser 505.
And then trust my monkeys. Wave your hand. Trust my monkeys. And then the voice behind the camera that you don't see is symptoms of reality. That's me.
So it's 3 of us.
So there's 3. That way you know who we all are.
Yeah. Which Dallas has a regular following. Okay, before we leave, real quick, we are known to give flowers out to certain people in the comment section.
Wait, we've given out flowers?
You know, or the proverbial flowers, like we do Bicky and everybody like Chrome and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 people that deserve their flowers, and you know, you're all going to get your flowers.
Why is Grayton drinking
But-
out of the cup that says A on it?
There's 2 people that deserve their flowers in the comment section today,
Mm-hmm.
and I want everybody in the comment section to give a round of applause.
Okay, let me get ready.
Get ready
Mm-hmm.
to George G's. Go ahead and give him his round of applause.
Yeah.
George G's is one of the biggest fans
Big up, George.
of music.
Yeah, George G's
You could
is
go
always here.
anywhere and see this man in the comment
George
section
G is
supporting
here.
musicians.
I see
He-
half
him-
God, half beast everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bicky.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bicky already
we
got his.
love
Bicky already
Bicky.
got his.
We
But
love
hang on,
Bicky.
hang
we
on,
love Bicky.
hang on. So that was George. Number 2,
I'll
Yes.
see Wabbit like everywhere.
Oh, crazy fucking rabbit.
Wabbit don't deserve
Yeah.
none of that because Wabbit is just a general. he works for us. He's a shield.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Number 2.
All right.
He's a shield.
Number
Oh,
2
Okay.
is Tron Dog, aka Synth Cat. These 2 people have been with us for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
They stick around a lot. They help the
Mhm.
channel grow. They continuously stay with the Soar family. They are the Soar family. Give a round of applause to Tron Dog, aka Synth Cat. Now, I know there's a lot of you who deserve your flowers, and I will hand them out as I see fit. Not everybody can have the spotlight. You know, wait your turn. But
Look, I didn't
see
even know we
you
were
all.
handing out fucking
right?
flowers.
And I'm
until
known
now.
to do this.
Lamar, did
I'm
you know we
known
were
to
handing
do
out
this.
flowers?
This is
On the
first
regular.
to me, but
All right.
I like where it's
Yeah,
going.
I'm
Okay.
known to do this on a
flowers
on a-
aren't I pretty?
Mm-hmm.
See?
Grayton, do you deserve flowers? I don't know. Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe next week. Maybe next week.
There's quite a few in our comment, but you know, I'll name them later. You know,
No,
just-
but for real,
everybody
you,
gets their own day and their own.
But
spotlight.
you two, we would love to have you guys back next Sunday, if you're available, 3 p.m.
I'll check my schedule.
Yeah, check your schedule.
Oh,
I'm sure.
check your
I'm sure
schedule.
you're
Oh, sorry.
available.
I think I have some weed to smoke around that time.
Yes,
right?
That's
every
perfectly
time.
fine.
Yeah.
You
Green
can
flowers.
smoke it on air and make us all jealous.
Yeah, I just feel like in on certain channels, your community and your chat can get unnoticed, and I know what it's like to sit in people's comment box, and I spend a lot of time there supporting the channels that I watch, and I know for a fact it feels good when you're acknowledged
Mm-hmm.
because
I'm
you
not
don't.
gonna lie. I actually stopped. I was a regular devotee of this live stream of this one guy, and then one day I couldn't get him to. I'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" Blah blah blah, and like he just gloss over me. I'm like, I don't want to be your friend no more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know how it feels, and when
Yeah.
you when
Yeah,
you
he got
a-
too big
yeah.
to like like he's so busy selling his spiel.
Whatever the
or-
fuck he was
I'm
selling.
like,
Yeah.
Man, he used to like look at everybody. Like, you see these guys and they're just so busy staring at the screen. And I'm not one to talk because I barely look at the chat. But
Oh, we know that.
Yeah, we know that
he
for a
used to look
fact.
at the chat, and one day he stopped looking at the chat.
Yeah.
Screw you, man. The chat was the fun part. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate your show, Davey the Hug Monster.
Davey the Hug Monster. Yes.
I'll never miss Jazzy Sprinkles.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
JRC
Uh-huh.
is
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah. Roy Joy Void.
What's the other guy's name from?
You ever watch Synth Samurai? He's
have.
a character and a half.
Jason Sarah, right?
We
all
brought
of
him to your channel once. Him and Hans Volk came to your channel a few weeks back to help show some love.
Oh, the Alchemist. John, is it John the Alchemist? Something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
John
J.A.
J-
John Alchemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Alchemy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Half
he
God,
was-
half beast is John Alchemy's
Movement 81.
Moderator.
moderator. Yeah.
Yeah, Movement 81 is
Movement 81.
their-
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Dallas, check out Hardware Jams. That's Bicky right now saying, check out Hardware Jams. Hardware Jams probably right up your alley, dude.
Yep.
That's
I
what
like
we
Hardware
met.
Jams. The problem with Hardware Jams is that for a long time, the time that Hardware Jams comes on, I'd be at work. Now I've got
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
I do a lot of driving because they started earlier because they're in England. So a lot of times when I catch Hardware Jams, it's too late. And I'm not a big submit guy. I just submitted something to the Clown Army. You guys got to get hip to that? That's where a lot of the action is.
Clown Army.
How many people out there know about
No,
Clown?
no,
Hero the Acid Clown?
Grayton, stop.
Who?
Stop.
You?
You need to get hip to Popcorn Night, and you need to stop submitting to Popcorn Night.
Ooh.
No, I watch Popcorn Night.
Ooh.
Okay,
do.
yeah. One thing
learned-
is watching, but you need to submit.
She said,
You
put
do
your,
hard-
put your
I mean-
music in there.
Mhm.
Get your music out there.
Mhm.
Both of you.
Hmm.
Yeah, the problem with putting out music is always the damn editing, man.
There's no problem.
listen,
Just do
There's
a
no
live,
fucking
Just do a
problem.
live bit.
Yeah,
Just
clip it.
jam
The problem
live.
is you getting in your own
Record
way.
record
I
it
have started
live,
cutting,
and
I
submit.
have started cutting videos out of the live bit. I didn't.
You
I
don't.
think I
Okay,
have
so for Popcorn Night, you don't need a video. An
Yeah, I
MP3
don't
is
have any-
perfectly
oh.
okay.
I could just do it live. That's what. I
Hey,
forgot.
that's what
Yeah.
I've been saying.
That's what your whole channel is
That's
based on, my boy.
That's what we just said.
Look, even Roy Joy Voice said, "Dallas, don't be lazy, brother.
Yeah.
You can do
See?
it."
We've
I
Come on
submit
now.
all the
Come
time.
on.
He is the king of lazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, she knows.
Yeah.
She knows. She knows.
He just tried to feed us an
She
excuse, and Roy
knows.
Joy called him out real quick.
Call him out on that shit.
Hmm.
I have to gently walk past him sometimes and go, so what you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Typical-
Now we know.
Typical military branch too. He goes to the Navy because his lazy ass, he likes conflict, but he want to be far away from it.
Oh, I'm stepping away from that
I
one
spent
way
6 years
far
getting in
away.
trouble in the Navy.
Yeah,
I bucked too many rules.
Mm,
I
They
can't wait
had-
to hear
They
this.
literally had to give up on.
that's because your ass was
on
too lazy to
certain
follow him.
kids.
That's why you broke all the rules, motherfucker.
Yeah, they literally they gave up. You want a story of my Navy career? This will tell you everything you didn't know if you think deeply enough about it. I spent 5 years at the same command on shore. If
Smoking
you talk
weed.
to anyone in the Navy, you tell them that if you talk to anybody in the Navy, you tell them you know a guy who spent 5 years at the same 6 years at the same command on shore. They'll tell you that's complete bullshit, impossible. No one's ever done it. They couldn't punish anyone enough by sending them me, so they kept me for 2 extra years. That was
Damn.
basically it. They realized,
They-
well, it was two.
They were hiding you
Number one,
for 2 years, is what you mean.
I knew everything about that building. I knew computers were a new thing. I knew everything about the computers. I knew every department. I knew everything, and I was, other than that specific unit and that specific job, outside of there, I was worthless. They knew the Navy was never gonna abide by a creature like me, but for them, I was like a Swiss Army knife employee.
He's a human Stitch.
Damn.
Yeah, he's a human Stitch. That-
Jeez.
he can literally tear something apart and then rebuild it and look at you and be like, ta-da.
Oh man.
Yeah, so they were freaked out by me, but they could never get me. My nickname was Admiral Webster. I was the lowest ranking person, and I became Admiral Webster because it didn't matter what your fucking rank was. Sooner or later, you and me were gonna go at it, and I was gonna win. And because I was that kid, I was arguing with these PhD/MDs, because not about what they knew, but if they stepped in anywhere near my territory, I would hand them their ass. And so it was a weird thing. They didn't want to get rid of me, but they didn't know what the fuck to do with me. But I could run the place by myself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Were you stationed in Eureka somewhere or
San Diego.
San Diego. Okay.
Yeah, which is a terrible place to be stationed if you're
Balboa.
If you're trying to do something with your life, because San Diego will just lull you into just chill.
Yeah.
I really regret not going out to sea. I think if I'd gone out to sea, getting over to Asia, maybe getting lucky enough to get to Europe. I think that would have been more up my alley. But I did, my whole time in San Diego, I was throwing my own parties on the rave scene, and that's
Stop
where I
right there,
got my big
because
education.
that's going to be part of next week's interview.
Oh yeah, that's part
Yeah,
two.
I want to hear about that.
You already going into
and
it.
I have a lot more questions for the both
So
of you.
so are you two available next Sunday at 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. All right. Here
All
we
right,
go.
real quick, while we still have a few people here, there's a person in our comment section. His name is Half God, Half Beast. He's run through some real tough times.
We love Bicky.
We love this man. He's been a big portion of this community.
He is a special autistic individual of ours.
He's the brother of another mother.
And he's running through some real hard times. He's trying to better his situation. Unfortunately, he can't do it. And we're going to help him. Now, if anybody out there can spare anything, $1, $2, $3, our goal is to reach 5,000. We're not going to stop until we reach that goal. That will move him to a different location, and it will also land him closer to a guaranteed job to make his life a hell of a lot better.
So there's a GoFundMe link right now in our Discord. All that money that is donated into the GoFundMe will go directly to Bicky, Half God, Half Beast. We will not take anything from it. YouTube will not take a percentage of it. It's all a GoFundMe account directly to Bicky.
Yeah. We are not going to depend on our governments, no matter whether it's the
Not
US
even in the UK,
or
'cause
the
they're
UK
not very
or
good
anywhere
to
else.
help.
If we're in a position to help someone, granted, we are all struggling, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but we're not rich over here, and we're
struggling.
We're finding ways to help people.
That's
and
a fucking understatement.
that's what
right
this
there.
channel was really based on. We're not a synth channel. We're not a synth review channel. We don't do half the shit
We're
people think
symptoms
we
of
should be
your
doing.
reality.
We're symptoms of your reality.
Yeah.
And this channel was started because we wanted to help people and talk to people, because we're just one conversation away from understanding everyone's point of view. So if you can help
That would be amazing.
Biscuit, please, Half God, Half Beast. He really needs to help. He himself will never ask anyone for help. So this is us asking
but
for him.
he himself would be the first
one
one
to
to
give you-
help
help
somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's come on our show many a times
Many
to help
of
us with
times.
Ableton. He's an Ableton genius. Shit, he's an engineer genius.
Yeah.
The man can do a lot.
Mhm.
So thank you, Bicky. And we are not
thanks,
going
Tron.
we are
Appreciate
not
you.
going to stop this movement until we can get you in a better situation and get you to that guaranteed job.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, you two, for coming on. It was so
Thanks, Tron.
nice
I mean,
to
yeah,
see you
thank you
guys. I
guys.
was so excited.
I didn't even believe this is going to be an
I was
interview.
literally on my way to the kitchen to go cook.
Well, good. I'm glad he
Yeah.
stopped you.
We were supposed to interview Kent Spong, but
He was interviewed too.
Yeah,
and
I
it was
got-
unexpected.
yeah, I got home late and
You had some crazy horses.
some crazy horses today, and then we
Yeah.
decided to do an open mic for anybody to hop on, and it was luckily Dallas hopped in and wanted to come in and chat with us. Now, did we know that was going to turn into an interview? Hell no,
no.
but I'm sure glad it did.
Hey, I am super happy.
Uh-huh.
Y'all got my email, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, because I specifically want to talk to you, madam.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
then
If you get an email from something called Jewel Tone Magic, that's me.
Oh, then I know it's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Georgie and I definitely gonna get one of those old school black picks with the fist on it and pick Dallas's nappy ass
Oh,
head.
okay.
And we
All
gonna go to
right,
work
all
on that
right.
shit.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck. George
Okay.
already told me he picking me up.
She's talking about, oh, give me the mic so you won't lose it. She can't find the clippers. There's no clippers.
No,
This is
no,
weird.
no,
It's
no,
out
bro.
of
Don't worry
control.
about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Georgie and I
geez.
got
Here
it.
we go.
Georgie
Here
and
we
I
go.
got it. We gonna come over there. We go hook you up just right, my boy.
I have some horse clippers upstairs clippers if you want.
That
to
ain't gonna cut it.
Oh, horse clippers. She said she got horse
That
clippers.
ain't gonna cut it.
Dang.
Literally.
Yeah, I think Georgie is close. So
Yeah.
Georgie, why don't you go over there and get that black fist pick
Oh
and
man.
get over there, get after that man's naps.
I
Yep.
use them.
Preserve house music.
I use them to cut my rugs.
Oh,
Oh,
that might
yeah.
work
Oh,
then.
that'll work.
That might work.
That might
I've seen YouTube videos on
Yeah.
that.
right.
It'll definitely work on his head.
When I tell you, Georgie and I is concerned about this man's hair. I mean, me and Georgie are concerned.
Not really that bad. It's
Mhm.
what's
Okay,
the coming to
okay,
America,
look-
they're like fruits and berries.
Look,
Yeah, yeah.
look. I know if it's not that bad. I know if it's not that bad. Can you take one finger and put it to his scalp and
Yeah.
go all the way through without getting stuck?
Well, yes, but All
But
the
it's
way out.
hard.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. That man needs a haircut. That's the test. He needs
Oh,
a
man.
It's the
haircut.
first time I ain't heard Dallas say a goddamn
I
thing.
know, right?
know.
Yeah, he's
Right on
busy. He's busy smoking.
One day I'll see if I can post a censored version of my license photo. That'll freak you out.
he literally
Yeah.
looks like somebody from Jamaica who's like, you're like, okay, yeah, he's been to jail a few times. Like,
That's too funny.
Looking homeless and shit.
boy.
Real quick before we
No, you
leave.
don't know the half of it. I get mistaken for homeless a lot.
Oh, I'm sure. No,
Not recently. This is actually nicer than I've had my hair cut in a long time. When I got my new job, I decided that I was gonna like at least cut my hair every couple of months or so instead of like once every other year. But when I was in once every other year mode, you have just no idea how many times.
Great,
I
great,
work with a lot of
you.
homeless- I get a lot of homeless vibes. So people leave
Great,
me
great.
alone.
I can see why you get a lot of
no,
homeless
look-
comments.
Look at the screen.
Like
Look
I
at the
just
screen, Dallas.
blew you up.
Look at us
You
looking
look-
at you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm zooming
but
in
his
on that.
mother will turn to me and be like, can't you get him? I'm like, can you get him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For real.
Yeah.
See,
there you
Georgie,
go. Mhm.
Georgie, I told you I hit it right on. This dude head out of control, my boy.
Real quick before we leave, I don't want to miss Bicky's comment. He says, "Embarrassed, but thank you, Bicky. You have nothing to be
Nothing.
embarrassed about.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. We've all been there. Lamont and I. Everybody's been there.
Somebody would have sent them $5 a couple of years ago, brother.
It would have been night and day,
I
right?
would have taken your $5 with gladly.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So don't be embarrassed. Like
Nope.
we all go through ups and downs, and we just fortunate. We started a community that's based on the house of love,
Yeah, the
baby.
Christmas-
Mhm.
I think the only thing we got for Christmas for each other was a hug and a hey, you want some coffee?
Is there any more than that? Yeah.
There you go.
I
That's the
mean-
perfect Christmas gift.
Material shit will still be here. We'll be dead and gone, but that hug will last forever.
Exactly.
Right.
It'll last
I
in your
think-
memories.
I think one Christmas, our treat to ourselves was we watched the movie on Netflix. Ooh.
Ooh, damn. We moving on up like the Jeffersons.
I believe
Yeah.
it.
I mean, like
What you know about giving used shit for Christmas to each other?
Yeah,
And being happy to
yeah,
get it?
yeah.
Like,
Hey,
damn.
What was the last time? What was the
Still
last time we
together.
gave each other a Christmas gift?
it's probably like 5 years.
5
maybe?
years since
Yeah.
we've given to each other a Christmas
5
gift.
years
Yeah.
since we had a proper Christmas.
Yeah, we've been struggling for 5
And
fucking
you know
years.
you know what's funny about Christmas for you and I?
Uh-huh.
And I know it's different, but for you and I,
Uh-huh.
every time Christmas comes around,
Yeah.
we're either searching for a job
Yep.
or there's something,
Or we're moving.
or we're moving,
Or we're
or we
moving.
just don't have the money.
Yeah.
Same with us too. Like
Yeah.
people keep pointing out, like, man, you love to quit around Christmas. Yeah, I do. Because usually Christmas is approaching. My job
Yep.
gets more stressful. People get less grateful,
Mhm.
and I'm like, fuck this. I'm about to get all the presents I want, and I'm just gonna sit home for a while and play with them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and for me, for my industry during Christmas, everything shuts down because I work in the movie industry,
Holiday.
and so everybody goes in hiatus from Thanksgiving on, it's dead, completely dead. You can't find work, or if you're working, you're on hiatus now, and they don't pay you on hiatus. So yeah, it's always during the holidays.
Yep.
Yep. So we've been there.
We've been
We
there,
understand.
and we stay there. And you know what? I think we're comfortable with it.
And it's okay.
As long as we can keep a roof over our head,
And we got each other.
and keep some chump change in our pocket, and try to
You
save
could always
some money.
sell the Solar 42, bro.
Jump change.
I ain't selling my Solar 42, bro. That's
Yeah,
He can
Damn,
sell
bro.
blood. I mean, you're
Yeah.
pretty tall. You can
sell the
sell a lot
Solar
of blood.
42, you get some money, you know. get some-
before
get
I
some-
do that, I would go. I would
Get
go
the
sell
Costco.
the. I would go sell
Costco.
the nut out of my
Get
balls
the
before I do.
Costco.
God.
The food lines.
I said go sell it at Costco.
No, I'm telling you what I would do. I would sell the nut out of my balls before I do
I'm
that.
gonna go join them.
Okay,
I
well,
don't need
you-
to do that, but I'm going to join
Well, you
this
tell
brother
Grayton
in
what
this
you're gonna do
fine
because
adventure.
he-
And we're
he's
gonna be
telling you to go
selling,
sell it at
ball
Costco.
juice.
We could start a goddamn what do they call that?
Revolution.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans,
OnlyFans.
yeah.
Girl,
Shit.
I'll get
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans and they will watch me sell nut from my balls.
Not only will they watch you, they're gonna have to watch me.
What? No.
You know how many
Who's holding the camera?
you are?
No,
shit.
the fuck I am.
They make selfie sticks.
Oh my god.
I'll hold that bitch and get
Mm-hmm.
nut off.
Y'all fucking crazy. Y'all
Hey,
crazy.
no, for real. What's your what synth are you selling first?
None of them.
I'm trying to
Oh,
generate
wait.
that synth wealth
Wait,
like
no,
synth samurai.
no. He
There's
did.
always one that's on the block.
He did sell one.
Okay, I did sell one.
He did sell
I sold
one.
the JDX side, but I sold it for a good
Yep.
reason.
Mm-hmm.
I sold it for the Albion One Orchestra
Yep.
pack.
What?
Yeah. He said,
Yeah.
what?
You said
Excuse
what?
me?
Yeah.
You should
I did
Dallas.
that.
You sold
It's
it for a
Dallas.
VST?
I sold it for a VST.
Come
A
on.
VST.
But
a
have
VS,
you? But
a
have you?
VSTDs.
But have you heard it? But have you? Heard
But have
it?
you heard it though?
But have you heard it?
Albion One is nice.
Uh-huh.
I can bootleg it.
No, I mean, look.
Typical brother. Typical
Look, she's
brother.
leaving. Bye.
No,
It's subjective.
but no, seriously.
She gotta go cook.
She gotta
Out
go
of the
cook.
six
Yeah.
that are still in your clique. Okay,
Mhm.
you go broke tomorrow. Who goes first? Who's
I
who
go
gets
broke
sold?
tomorrow. Who goes
Oh,
first?
the Solar
What
42
sentence-
for sure.
What sense are you getting rid of to pay the mortgage?
And you and I know why.
The Solar 42 would go first.
At hands down,
Yeah.
goes first.
It goes first.
Yep. Bye.
And then if I really need to get us out of a pickle,
The Model 16.
no, I get rid of the Atom speakers.
Oh yeah, because we don't use them.
that's good-
Yeah,
that's a
because we
good
don't use
call.
them.
That's a good call
Yep.
because
hmm
if you put the speakers in the right spot, sometimes it doesn't really matter which monitors, as long as they're not shit.
Right.
But
put
we
in the right
hardly
spot.
use them though. That's the thing. Like we.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
Well-
but the Atom speakers are one of those things that you buy because you look at it and go, oh well, let me just jump the head of the line and get the Atom speakers. That's what the pros use, right?
Right.
And then you don't realize, did I really need these fucking things? You know?
Hey, he ain't lying.
You ain't lying.
He ain't lying.
I
Because
haven't listened
when
to
wa-
them in a long time.
When was the
Yeah.
last time we
Deluxe.
heard something
I
from
haven't
them?
listened to them in
Yeah.
a long time. I
Uh-huh.
haven't.
Hydrosynth Deluxe. I mean, that is. I've got the Explorer, and that's more synthesis than any human needs. You've got two Explorers built into one fucking
Mhm.
Yeah.
mega
Yeah.
synth with 88
Yeah.
fucking keys.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the weird thing about the synth age right now is that we went from wishing we could get our hands on anything that doesn't suck like 8 years ago to having any fucking sound that you
Mhm.
could ever have dreamed of
Desire. Yeah.
for
It's
relatively
mega.
cheap.
It's mega gas, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
if you buy Behringer,
No, don't
products,
you say it
You already
one
said
more
it.
Damn,
time.
you said it
Oh,
twice.
One-
oh,
no,
oh,
no. He said it twice.
Okay, if you buy Behringer
Ah,
products,
fuck! There it goes 3 times.
they make it easy for a guy who doesn't make a whole lot of money and who wants to hear the big sounds
Quality sounds,
that
right?
they couldn't
Mhm.
otherwise afford. And it's easy.
I see Behringer in two separate lights. Okay, so there's and I respect both. There's the guys who you go to their channel and they've got the Poly 800, they've got the Model D, they've got like the greatest hits of they got the Wasp, the greatest hits of Behringer rack mountable synth clones, and I totally respect that, because that, I think when I first heard of Behringer doing this, that was my vision, was that, wow, I'm totally going to get all of these classic synthesizers that I've heard of that you could have never gotten your hands on. But as you move forward and you start realizing that your basic knowledge of subtractive synthesis will take you further than any specific machine will. I really kind of want to kick myself, because if I could shoot back to 1998, when all I had was a MC505, an Ensoniq sampler, and some other bullshit, I literally could have made you an album's worth of bangers on that crap, versus my rig now, which is NASA leagues ahead of that synth. And the difference between now and then is basic understanding of subtractive synthesis. And I think that killed my desire for all of those old synths. Now I want to move forward. So I think you can get into what mode I'm in, is where you pick and choose the greatness that Behringer has to offer. I think that this Behringer Cobalt expander is worth it all
It's
day.
funny that
Yeah.
that Grayton says that, because it's the epitome of what Cressy constantly says all the time is stop buying shit
Mm-hmm.
and learn what you have now to its ultimate level. Like, know it in and out
100%.
and what it can do
And I agree with
what
that.
it could do with your
It's
workflow.
a really hard lesson and a really expensive lesson, and
Right.
a really
Yeah.
debilitating. It slows you down. Like I said, if I could go back in time and say, I don't care if this stuff seems like I had a
Right.
Juno 106 and I couldn't make a track with it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that my favorite track of all time was made on the synth that was in my damn apartment for 2
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
didn't know how to work it. I mean, to me,
Yep.
the best I could do on the 106 was I knew that the filter made it do a thing.
And that's what Cressy was saying is know what your synths do. Know exactly
Yeah.
what they do and with your workflow. And
when
then
I sat down to formally teach myself academically with mind-numbing tutorials till 3 in the morning on subtractive synthesis, that tells you way more than what's the best synth for this or what's the best synth for
right.
that.
Yeah.
The only time you should be looking for a specific synth is if you need to know the history of your genre.
Culture or Ghost said, no need to
Exactly.
keep buying many cents. They're all relatively the same.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
why I have so many. I mean, what? 1, 2, 3, technically 4, technically 5, 6, 7, 8. So in theory, I've got 8 mono synths here. There's not one poly here. The only thing that's putting out poly is the MPC. And at some point you realize, like, wow, you just keep rocking. What I try to do is distill my sound down. I know that these bass modules will put out nice round bass when I want it, and I know that in 2 seconds I can get them to scream and be ugly when I want it. So you start looking for your sound more than you start looking for what synths should I buy. This is the product of being up late at night watching every review. I don't think if you could find a review that I have not seen on a synthesizer, I'll give you money. I swear to God. I just,
Yeah.
before I buy a synth, I have already watched 20, 30 videos. I've
Right.
read manuals on synthesizers that I've never touched, just trying to find out if
To
that
understand them.
synth is going to be the answer. You're looking for answers to questions. You're looking for answers to holes you have, not what synth can I just throw into the mix?
And you're probably looking
toy.
for answers that you already have the responses to
Yes,
those
because
questions,
if you
right?
look, as
In
much
your
as I
own
love my
synths.
rig right here, I can tell you just from all of my research and all my trial and error that I could distill this down to 2 synthesizers in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I really love having the rig. I really
Right.
love playing like that. But if you told me, hey man, we want you to fly out, I would grab the MPC and the 2H4D and call it a day.
And
That
that
would
at
be
the
right.
end of the day is what I guess what people really need to understand is if that question was posed to them, I need you to fly out tomorrow. What are you going to take? And that should answer every single person's rig.
Right.
Yeah,
is
and that's why
what can
I
they
went
do
on a
with it?
rant about the MPC being the greatest device. And I don't mean that from an emotional thing. I'm not in love with the thing. I think that it, once again, it's just pure math. The number of things that this device can do is just fairly insane. So when you start complaining about synthesizers you don't have, you want to tell people like, before the tariffs, man, you could pick up one of these fucking MCC ones for
Mhm.
$300, and it would
Well,
solve all of your fucking
yeah.
problems at
Mhm.
once. It may
Um,
not be to the way you like. Like I said,
right.
until I put some money into this thing to buy plug-in synthesizers, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but still, it was a beast.
On its
Sampler,
own, yeah.
synthesizer, drum
Um,
machine.
Bicky, Half God, Half Beast, made a good point, and he said, if you really want to get to know a synth, a good thing to do is to delete all the presets, then learn sound design.
I've tried every strategy you can think of. I've deleted all the presets and tried building new tracks from scratch. I've tried deconstructing the preset songs that they sometimes attach to presets. I think what I said earlier is where you first start. Too many people are just genre agnostic. They believe in electronic dance music so much that they're going to do trip hop one day, they're going to do down tempo, lo-fi, house. No. I think before you design your rig, you should probably zero in on genre. And then the first thing that I learned was what are the go-to sounds for your genre. For house music, the Korg M, there's 3 presets on the Korg M1 that are absolutely going to come up all the time. The DX7 has 2 presets that are absolutely positively going to come up sometime in your house career. And as you start to learn the textures and for certain, it's the JP8000. For other genres, it's the 909. As you start to learn the different instruments and different textures, that becomes your first building block. The second building block is figuring out how you're going to get those sounds out of what you have. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First, you learn what sounds you're looking for. Then you
Absolutely.
learn how to get those sounds. And
Yeah.
sound design and subtractive synthesis. I don't think I was teasing somebody who was some newbie had a live stream and he's called it Learning FM Synthesis. And at first, I thought he was going to teach this impossible dream. Then I realized he was just using that as a title and he had no clue. Because he had a copy of Dext open and he starts moving things around. I'm like, dude, man, you just went down the worst possible way to learn FM synthesis. Dext is hard to use, even if you know FM synthesis, and you don't. So all you're getting is noise. So you end up going down these weird rabbit holes looking for stuff. So I don't think you need to learn FM synthesis. I think
Yeah.
you need to wrap your head around where FM synthesis gets its magic from versus subtractive synthesis. I think once your brain opens up its eyes and sees just what FM synthesis really is, you'll start to get a feel for it. But usually what you're looking for is certain presets with house music. I like the bass out of the 303. That's another thing. It's another standard house thing. Everyone needs a 303.
Yeah. That's what Half God, Half Beast would tell everyone too.
Mhm.
Everyone needs a 303.
Yeah. Right
Yeah,
now, what everybody needs is to end this podcast because I'm tired and I need to go cook.
You sound like a Leitra. Bounce.
Somebody fucking gave Grayton a mic. May have been good, may have not been good. Love you, man.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Like I'm learning so much from this dude.
But we also have next Sunday.
Yeah, we do.
I've got a mic. I'm gonna sing.
You got a mic,
And I'm gonna preach.
and he's gonna
Actually,
sing.
I'm too sober to sing now. I would
Yeah.
sing.
Oh,
you,
well,
We will
Gotta
continue. We will continue this next Sunday.
Yep.
We encourage everybody to be here next Sunday for this.
Is that a SM7B
Yeah.
microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you rich bastards!
No.
No.
That's where you're.
If you remember,
These are the
I said
These are the
is I
sevens.
printed
These are the MV7s.
everything
Yeah.
out, and we bought everything.
and we sold a
On
bunch
layaway.
Of, and we sold a
One
bunch of gear for this
Yeah,
shit.
we
Too.
By
we sold a bunch of
one.
gear.
$2,000 in gear.
I really want the 7, but I'm telling you that I've watched so many tests. The 58 is good enough. It's more 7B than I need for my purposes. But I really want that 7B. Like there's just something about it that just like tells you like, all right, you know what? You cannot fail with
Get a
this.
cloud lifter. I'll tell you that.
Get a cloud
Mhm.
lifter. And,
Yeah.
it's just an expensive thing.
Because these things are gang fucking hungry. Not these ones, but the other ones are so gang hungry.
Mhm.
You're gonna need a cloud lifter.
What's
Yeah,
a cloud lifter?
It boosts the signal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it won't be so hot.
Right.
Yeah, audio is the next frontier, I think. Like I said, I've been watching Dallas evolve for the last 8 years from almost
w-
nothing, where you could barely find any YouTube videos on it. To now, I mean, we're in the platinum age, and I think one of the things is you're going to start seeing more attention to audio in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
I'm
everybody
really
should
starting
pay
to think-
attention to audio.
Well, have you seen the Rodec mixer console?
The which one?
It's a small format 500 series console aimed at small studios, and they kind of hinted like it might be aimed at like there's like this whole new high end audio.
Is it like the Roadcaster the Roadcaster?
It looks
Pro
like
two?
a large modular system, but it's got studio console gear
Huh.
like the API
haven't seen that one.
500 series.
Have you seen that one?
No.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a totally new thing from a company called Rodec. But now I'm looking at the price and I'm thinking, I've bought dumber things for less money than that. But I will say one thing before we go.
Uh-huh.
This setup right here is not going to change unless somehow magically something very cost effective does what these things do for me specifically in this context better.
Yeah.
But this mixer, if they invent a new one tomorrow, I swear you have no idea. There are some things that I will just throw into the dumpster pile.
He's like,
so
I'm
bad.
throwing money to it.
If somebody invents a new one, that's the game. When people talk about, oh, there's a lot of money, like, I'm sorry, man, like I'll do anything to take the sound just a little bit further. And so
I think that's everybody though.
yeah.
I think anybody who is doing music and doing music for like YouTube podcast type of things, I think they would agree on that.
Right.
Yeah. Whatever
Yeah,
puts
you
out
definitely-
your sound better
And easier.
and easier,
Mhm.
they would do.
Easier. Convenience is king.
Right.
A lot of people buy synthesizers and they get really hung up on the features and how everyone loves it, and they don't realize that when you throw that thing in your rig, it may for some reason won't talk to another synthesizer. I've got
Right.
I okay, you think like, okay, it's MIDI, right? They've had this standard since 1980. It's cool, bro. It's just gonna talk to each other. It's just no, for some fucking reason, it won't talk to synth B. It just won't. You know what I mean?
But-
Every other
but-
synth in the chain, but the one you need it to talk to, it doesn't want to talk to. Nothing in the manual can help you.
Who said it? Somebody just said in the chat. Somebody mentioned the Zoom.
Uh,
I know Crazy Rabbit has a Zoom.
Uh-huh.
A few people have it and they say it's a great
Yeah. I love the Zoom.
A
It's
Midas
just-
or Zoom.
It's
Mhm.
so hot though. Like I said, like everything comes out of it like
Gainy.
fire. Whereas I had an old Behringer, and it was very warm sounded. It rolled off things a lot nicer. This thing just gives you. This thing is exactly what you put into it, you get out of it, and
which
when you
can be a good thing.
it can be a good thing
Yeah.
if you have everything dialed in. But
Yep.
this requires way too much fiddling every single change of song.
Grayton's like, I don't want to focus too much on that shit.
I do love it. I
He's
love
like,
the
I'm
fact
done.
that I love that it has so many channels. I've never actually had
Zoom-
spare
the-
channels.
the Zoom is digital.
Yeah.
I barely. I
That's
have
right.
spare channels. That never happened before. I'd always managed to max out. I like the fact that it's got two separate effects, and they're not chained together in series, so you can use them independently from each other, built in. I only use reverb and delay. It's just the old Ableton. In fact, I mean, my whole career, if you call it that, that's the only two effects I've ever used. Reverb, delay built into the mixer. I have zero pedals, zero. I watched these videos on effects pedals, and I'm like, y'all ain't getting my money. Fuck you. $400 for some Chase Blitz bullshit.
Oh,
I'm literally
jeez.
only going to use reverb and delay. And I don't want to get all scientific about it, but technically all effects can be described as delay. You know, that's chorus is just delay. Reverb is just
I would
delay.
love to hear a conversation between Grayton and Biggie.
Oh, I'd love to hear a conversation between those two as well. We need to set that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Biggie will come on next Sunday.
Maybe
Yeah.
we could convince him to come on.
Leon, would you like to come on
Yeah,
next
would you want
Sunday?
to come on,
with
Leon,
Grayton?
and talk to
The last thing
Grayton?
I will say is that you can always use another drum machine. I promise you that.
Oh, for fuck's
That's my
sakes.
last word.
All right,
You
Grayton, you
cannot.
have had your last word. It's been amazing to have you on.
He was going to suck me right in because I had questions.
Nope.
Yeah.
We will see you and your better half next Sunday.
Yeah,
It's been amazing. You guys are just fucking awesome.
right.
Yeah, y'all some good people.
Let's do 2:00 before Get Jervis comes on.
Yeah. Well, no, probably 3 because we have horses next Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we have quite a few.
Oh shit. Well, who knows what time?
Yeah,
we're
so
gonna
probably
come on.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Smoke your joint in peace, brother.
Yeah.
Look, Cressy said, just say no,
Yeah.
Bicky.
Yeah. No,
Stop,
no.
Cress.
God damn it, Cressy.
Leave him alone.
Thank
I
you.
don't know why your ass ain't sleep anyways.
Thank you, Dallas House of Music.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
your
Thank you for coming
beautiful bride.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was a good.
Smoke that joint in good health.
Hmm.
It was a good.
And we will see you guys tomorrow.
Peace, everybody.
Peace, everybody.
Bye.